roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Carr. Here. Councilmember Panduro.
Here.
Councilmember Sandhu. I saw him upstairs.
He's going to be about 20 minutes late.
Oh, okay, thank you. Councilmember Tonneson.
Here.
Councilmember Williams.
Here.
Vice Mayor Bertani is absent, and Mayor Moy.
I'm here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our invocation tonight will be presented by Alicia Tobar of Liberty Church. Hi, Alicia.
Hello. So I will start with prayer.
Thank you.
Heavenly Father, we come before you today seeking your guidance as we gather for the City Council meeting. Grant our council members wisdom and discernment as they deliberate on important matters before them. Help them to listen to one another with open minds and heart and to make decisions that will benefit other members in our community. May your spirit of unity and understanding prevail, and may we all work together for the betterment of our city. We pray for wisdom, for strength, and for courage to do what is right and good for all citizens. May they put the interests of others above their own. In the name of the Father, of the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. And Councilwoman Williams, would you lead us in the pledge, please? All right, we're going to turn to council reports, and we'll start with you, Councilwoman Panduro, if you don't mind. All right, no problem.
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor. So my report is around some events that several of us attended. Oh, I thought that was my mic. I'm sorry. So a few of us attended the Solano EDC breakfast. So the theme of the meeting was tariff headwinds and opportunities. And there was individuals there from the Bay Area Council Economic Institute, Sonoma State University, and the Solano EDC. And they talked and walked us through the different challenges and opportunities in today's economic landscape, from inflation to international trade, and how Solano County can best position itself as we go through all of these different scenarios that we're living in every day. And then that same day, there was a panel that the city manager and I attended. It was held by the Northern Solano County Association of Realtors, and it was called Selling Solano Season 3. And so there was real estate agents there, and we sat on a panel and answered questions around any question that the real estate agents had around housing and infrastructure, and like how the different cities were, how the cities put themselves forward to real estate agents and how we can work better with them. So those were really good conversations. And then lastly, I attended the Solano County Good Scout Awards dinner, which was held by the Boy Scouts of America Club organization. And each year there's an award that they give to a business or individual who has made a lasting impact in our community. And this year our former colleague, Councilmember Rick Vaccaro, was honored. And so it was really nice to spend an evening with him and acknowledging all of his accomplishments to our community. And just one last thing, myself and Councilmember Doug are on the Solano JPA board. So that is a regional homeless committee that we sit on. And so we had a meeting on Thursday, and so one of the main things that I wanted to share, just exciting news, Vallejo opened their homeless navigation center, and it's located on 1937 Broadway Street. And it is a one-stop shop providing services and shelter to address homelessness, and they offer individual case management and access to job training. They're scheduled to start intake now. It was supposed to be starting last week, but they had some tech issues. So by now they should be doing, yes, I'm getting a yes. So they are now taking intake for folks to be able to take advantage of the navigation center, and the referrals are received by the coordinated entry system. And so this is a really big win for Vallejo, but also in general for the county, because as we all know, every city is dealing with homelessness, and this is one way that we were able to help Vallejo kind of help them in that challenge themselves as a group together. And that is all. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Doug?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I'll keep it really brief because I was on vacation all last week. But before I went,
Amen.
I did do a ribbon cutting at the bakery, 85 Degrees, and it's delicious. You guys should try it. It's over next to Michael's there, and it's just really wonderful. They sold out everything. I think the line went almost halfway around the whole strip mall there, almost all the way over to, Big Five. It went all the way down, and it was a really good turnout. And that's all I got, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Tonneson.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, a few of us went to the 85 opening. It was really fantastic. Just talking about the downtown, we've got our 4th of July parade coming up. Hope to see everyone there. The downtown's almost ready. We've got a couple more restaurants coming. Bordeaux's is coming in. It's a Cajun steakhouse. And then Dumpling House is coming soon. That's all for me, Mayor.
We're laughing because it's been coming for a long time, but it actually has a sign there now, so it's coming. Councilwoman Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. We go to a lot of the same events, so I was just kind of checking them off as you all mentioned them. So I will mention an event that is coming up that I love to go to. Taste of Downtown is July 17th, and it is a wonderful way to pay a fee and be able to taste all types of foods and fares in downtown. I connect that to you, Scott Tonneson, not only because you live and work there, but I love when I come. I feel like we do this event together.
Yeah.
And taste all the things, except for you don't taste all the things. But you just hang out with me until I'm full. Also, I wanted to mention that the city manager's office sent out either today or yesterday the North Cordelia LLMD meetings, some potential meeting dates. So if that is something that you are interested, if you live in Green Valley, and want to participate in like a LLMD subcommittee group, so we can navigate when for that to go back up to election. There's a bunch of steps that need to happen before we're ready for a go. So if that is something you're interested in, if you could email me, kpwilliams@fairfield.ca.gov, or the city manager's office. I prefer you through the city manager's office, but fine, email me, no problem. Please, I want as many of us to participate as possible. And thank you. That's the end of my report.
Thank you, Councilwoman. And I have a few things. First, we had a listening tour on Saturday, and that was in the Vice Mayor's district. And we spoke about a lot of things, including homelessness, LLMDs, and peacocks. And there's still some stress going on, even though we have a peacock plan now, or peafowl, I should say, because it's, anyway, I learned more about it than I really wanted to. It's breeding season now, so there's a lot of chicks up there, and it was very interesting. But the vice mayor is going to go, because she's a glutton for punishment, to some more meetings on this and see if the peafowl committee can get together and do what they need to do, and not argue a lot anymore, but okay. Then I want to say that on the 15th, we're going to break ground on the new truck stop going west on Interstate 80. So there will be some traffic things going on there, and it'll take some time for that to get done. Once it's done, it's going to be a lot easier for the trucks to move through, and hopefully, they say, it would ease up on some of the automobile accidents that happen in there with trucks moving in and out. So that's coming. We're breaking ground on that. And then, let's see, hold on here. Oh, on August 20th, there's going to be a county-city summit. This is going to be with the city manager and me, and the same with all the cities and the county. And what we're doing is the county's moving forward with an updated general plan, and we're all trying to get on the same page. That ought to be fun. Because every city is unique, obviously, and the county is unique, and so growth patterns may not be agreeable to everybody, I guess. And so we're going to try to get on the same page as much as we can so we all understand what's going on. One city will not be there because they don't want to, and that's Dixon. And then I just wanted to say kudos. I was at Ellen Witt Park yesterday, last night actually, and was working out in the pool. And about, I don't know, I guess 2 months ago, a month and a half, some citizens talked about there were issues with cleanliness and sand and stuff in there. And so I just want to say to staff, and to the people in Public Works that do so much work around the parks. That park was booming. It was clean. People were having fun playing basketball, swimming, pickleball, and softball, and enjoying themselves. And there were only a few parking spaces over there. So I just want to say kudos to that, because the issues that were there before are no longer there. It had something to do with the filtration center. But anyway, that's all I have. And Mr. City? Yes. Yes.
I just want to say, we all got new computers. We're all working now on computers.
Yes.
So we're not being
Ignoring.
rude, I just want to let everybody know, why are we all looking down? Because we're all learning the whole new system, so I just want to get that out there.
Yes, our agendas are on there, and we also, when we're working on our agendas over the weekend or whatever, we write notes in there, so we're looking at those things, and we're not trying to, like you said, we're not ignoring you. So, Mr. City Manager.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. A couple of you mentioned it, but yeah, 4th of July parade this Friday, starting at 10 a.m. Always a wonderful affair in downtown Fairfield. And then agenda item for tonight, where there's going to be one modification on the agenda. Agenda item R3 will be continued to a later date. Our hope will be that that might come back at the first meeting in August, but we will go ahead and do all of the renoticing requirements for that item as soon as that date is solidified. So R3 will be continued from tonight. We'll not take that tonight.
Thank you. And Mr. City Attorney.
I have nothing to report. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mayor. Once again, we're still recruiting for Measure P Oversight Committee members. The deadline to apply is next Friday, July 11th. We have 3 seats available. The committee meets 4 times per year. You can email cityclerk@fairfield.ca.gov to get an application, and there might even be some in the lobby on the table. And then also the Landscape Oversight Committee, we still need a member for District 2. And again, you can email cityclerk@fairfield.ca.gov to get an application. And I believe that's it. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. So we'll go ahead and turn to presentations then, please.
Presentation, Measure P Oversight Committee Appreciation, Recognition presented by City Manager David Gassaway. And
Yeah, do we
I'm not
have,
sure if our members are here or not.
Yeah, do we have Tara Lee Martin, Eddie Ramirez, or Tim Tomko here? No? All right, well, we're going to make this brief then. So I just want to thank them and recognize them for their service on the Measure P Oversight Committee. City of Fairfield expresses our deepest appreciation for their dedicated service over the past 5 years as volunteers in service on the Measure P Committee. Their commitment to attending quarterly meetings, producing the annual report, and ensuring compliance with the citizen-adopted sales tax has been outstanding. Their perseverance and diligence has been instrumental in maintaining transparency and accountability within our community. Their contributions have not only upheld the integrity of Measure P, but also have strengthened the trust between citizens and our city government. On behalf of the entire City of Fairfield organization, City Council, and most importantly, the citizens of Fairfield who entrusted them to ensure the transparency and integrity of our Measure P sales tax measure, I want to thank them for exceptional service and unwavering dedication. Their efforts have made a significant and positive impact, and we are immensely grateful for their hard work and commitment. I have certificates for them that we will get to them after the meeting. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. So now we will go ahead and move to public comments, please, Madam Clerk.
Public comments. Persons wishing to address the City Council on subjects not on the agenda but within the jurisdiction of the council may do so at this time. The council cannot discuss or take action on matters not on the agenda for this meeting, but council members may briefly respond to statements made or questions raised by the public, ask for clarification from staff, refer the matter to staff, request staff to report back to the council at a subsequent meeting, or place the matter on a future agenda. To speak on an agenda item, please use the raise your hand feature if you're online, or press *9 on your phone. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes per item as determined by the mayor. And our
Everybody
first-
has 3 minutes.
And our first speaker is Tony Wade, to be followed by Macy Cook.
Hey, Tony.
Hi. Good evening, Mayor Moy, council members, staff, all y'all. I'm here to speak about the decision that you'll be making about the management of the downtown theater. I've lived here for decades, and I didn't know that place existed. Put a pin in that statement, because I'm going to circle back to that in a minute. In the 1970s, there was a years-long effort to save the Armio Auditorium that was ultimately unsuccessful, and it is now a county parking lot. Those crushed hopes and dreams, and the remainder of the fundraising money was invested into the Fairfield Center for the Creative Arts, now the Downtown Theater, that had its triumphant debut in 1990. It was an immediate focal point of Fairfield pride. It featured nationally known artists and local talent, but its sheen dimmed over the years mainly due to actions by the city. I remember things like not being able to buy tickets at the venue where it was going to happen, but you had to go to City Hall at the mall to get tickets. I remember the marquee that was flush against the building, that if you happened to see it, it was obscured by trees. I remember going to a disastrous meeting by a city employee in 2012 where it looked for all the world like it was going to be shuttered. Then the nonprofit Downtown Theater Foundation for the Arts stepped in with Dave Spearing and staff, and a remarkable transformation began. I've seen and reviewed dozens of shows by Missouri Street Theater, experienced exquisite live musical artists from Fraser Traeger Presents, enjoyed the Solano Winds, and even used it multiple times for community fundraisers myself. I research and write about Fairfield history. Do you know how many times I come across old microfilm with past city council talking about revitalizing downtown? We have a revitalized downtown theater. It didn't happen by magic. It happened because dedicated and professional staff and volunteers made it happen in partnership with the city. And that city funding, a drop in the bucket for what you get out of it, should absolutely be continued. Now, back to the point I made at the beginning, the statement at the beginning. I've lived there for decades, and I didn't know this place existed. People said that so many times coming into the downtown theater, but it happens less and less now, because people came there with no expectations, and they left with no socks because they've been knocked off by what they experienced there. And they come back. The Downtown Theater Foundation for the Arts is one of the reasons that Fairfield is not just synonymous with homelessness and crime, but with a vibrant arts culture. I saw Les Mis there 4 times. It was incredible. There's a saying that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting
You have
different
20
results.
seconds.
Yep. And I submit that another definition of insanity is to find something that works and then to stop doing it. Like many other Fairfielders have had their lives enriched and their souls filled with Fairfield pride, I urge you to keep the Downtown Theater Foundation for the Arts as the management and to fund them to keep this community jewel thriving. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tony.
Next is Macy Cook, to be followed by Mike Pierce.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. My name is Macy Cook, and it is an honor to be the one chosen today to represent the hundreds of young artists in Solano County, and I thank you for your time. When the young artists of Solano County found out that the place we have called home for so long was in jeopardy of changing management or being sold, as suggested by Councilmember Sandu, we became very concerned. While we do know that the theater is not on the agenda tonight, we also understand that the people making the decision are currently in the process of making it. As a young community that rarely makes waves, we took to social media to express our concern and personal connections to the theater. The outpouring of support from current and former young artists was overwhelming, and we decided to form an open letter to the city of Fairfield, which I have copies of if any of the city council members or mayor would like one. I'd like to read that letter to you now. I feel confident that if you read every single name signed at the bottom of this letter, you will know someone on this list. City of Fairfield staff. We, the undersigned, are a community of young artists who came to the downtown theater knowing little more than that we loved to create. Some of us had never stepped on a stage, some of us didn't know how to hold a script, read music, or plug in a mic cable. We were beginners, unsure of our place in the world of performance, design, and storytelling. But under the guidance of the DTFA staff, everything changed. The downtown theater has been more than just a place to learn. It has been a home and a training ground and a launch pad. Through mentorship, trust, and tireless support, the staff at the Downtown Theater transformed us into the artists and professionals that we are today. Because of their leadership and belief in our potential, we have grown into confident performers, choreographers, directors, musicians, writers, stage managers, and designers of costumes, light, sound, and more. Every cue we've called, every scene we've crafted, every performance we've shared with an audience has been built on the foundation that they gave us. What makes the Downtown Theater special is not just the training, it's the people. The staff at DTFA are not only talented professional artists in their own right, they are compassionate, patient, and deeply committed educators who pour everything they have into helping young artists succeed. They don't just teach skills, they nurture voices, build confidence, and create opportunities where none existed before. We write this letter to say thank you to them and to strongly, proudly, and wholeheartedly endorse the work of the DTFA and its extraordinary staff. They have changed our lives, and thanks to them, we are now the ones creating, leading, and giving back. Signed, myself and 67 other young artists. Again, thank you for your time, and please remember that theater is so much more than a building. It's the art and beauty that is created inside. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Next is Mike Pierce, to be followed by Rick Johnson.
Thank you, that was lovely.
Mayor, City Council, as a citizen and taxpayer of Fairfield, I want to talk about the budget transparency and accountability of all the city managers. Every citizen should know about these issues. On two occasions, February 3rd and March 14th, 2023, my wife and I attended a special meetings with council members, city management, and public. Here it was said by City Manager David Gasway that the city has $56.8 million surplus. Not long after, Gasway rescinded that statement and said that actually we currently have a $20 million deficit over the next 2 years. That's a huge $76.8 million mistake, and we need answers. So Mayor Moy and council members, how was the mistake made? Who made the mistake? Gasway and Furtado? Where did the money go? By the way, Moy, Tonneson, and Bertani are all on the council audit committee. So where are those audits for the budget? On your transparency page. Also, I have written the mayor and council members several times about several issues and have been ghosted, and the mayor would write back acting concerned and never get back to me. The mayor says she's negotiating in good faith with the city's bargaining groups, but how can that be true if you're not transparent about the management of public funds? For instance, there have been several non-historical positions created costing the budget hundreds of thousands of dollars. How about the city providing the public with how much money those positions cost? Again, transparency. Maybe the council should hold the city manager accountable for him not holding his city management staff accountable. For instance, let me just give you a waste of money issue. City's courtyard personnel were on Texas Street for several weeks from Beck Avenue to Pennsylvania Avenue performing asphalt concrete repair, replacing traffic signal loops, and placing thermoplastic striping. The city's engineering division has been working for several years on 2 capital improvement projects for the same stretch of road. Shortly after courtyard work was completed, our CIP staff then started the first project which destroyed some of the courtyard work. The second CIP will destroy the rest of it from Beck to Penn. How much taxpayer money did the courtyard just waste? What's worse is the city managers have a meeting every 2 weeks, so why isn't Assistant Director of Public Works Ryan Paganeben talking with then Courtyard Superintendent Mike Gray about coordination of these projects so our taxpayer dollars aren't wasted? Again, accountability. I could go on and on and on about the mess at a city hall. I do know that the mayor, council members, and city manager owe the citizens and the hard-working city employees an
You
explanation.
have
and
20
apology.
seconds.
How many managers on staff actually live in the city of Fairfield? All I know is you keep hiring and promoting people who are not qualified, that are not managing the city correctly, and instead want to insult the great employees in purple behind me who work and make this city run along with other bargaining groups.
Your time is up. Thank you.
Rick Johnson to be followed by Melinda Ellis.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, staff. My name is Rick Johnson. I'm a volunteer who works with the Rolling Hills 218 campaign. I'm in the trenches. I actually just finished a survey to find out how bad are our strips in front of our houses there that are part of the district. There's a total of 643 that are in the district that the LMD maintains. These are directly in front of people's homes. So this is the part that they see. You can't see Hillborn from their house, but they can see the strip right in front. 66% of those strips are toast. They've got to be fully rehabilitated. And the good part is Gary Sponsler is working with us and our Director of Public Works to get an estimate of what is this going to cost so that when the 218 campaign goes forward, we're going to have a good idea of how much money we need to go forward with. Last 218 campaign, an estimate of maintenance was used to arrive at how much tax should people pay. This time, we're going to have real numbers. But ultimately, what we're going to need in this effort is more time. We need more time to reach out to the individuals that live there, get their input. There's so many choices that they're going to need to make, and there's going to be a lot of belt tightening on their part to be able to pay for what needs to get done. Right now, we're on a timeline for 26-27, and we're going to be asking, as the Rolling Hills Network, as they come forward, to ask for, give us more time. We need the right amount of time. We need to take the foot off the gas and do the right effort, and we're going to need additional time. And I'm here to help. I'm a volunteer all the way through, and I do understand that this is not on the agenda. That's why I'm bringing it forward today. And I also understand, I've heard that the Landscape Oversight Committee is going to be taking this up at their meeting on the 17th, and I believe they're going to be making a similar recommendation, but we'll see at that time. So thank you very much.
Thank you for the preview.
Next is Melinda Ellis to be followed by Simone Arnett.
Hello, good evening. I'm here to speak on behalf of the DTFA and management of the Downtown Theater. I'm here not only as a lifelong musician, but as a proud member of our local arts community. I've had the honor of performing with over 75% of the groups that have been on stage at the Downtown Theater, including bands, orchestras, and theater companies. Beyond our city limits, I play in and conduct orchestras across Northern California. Whether I'm performing in Sacramento, Napa, or San Francisco, I am time and time again reminded of how special our own community and our own theater is, not just to me, but to the general cultural life of the county. As someone who also teaches music in our public schools, I witness the daily transformative power of the arts. I've seen countless students fall in love with music in the classroom and then later perform on the stage like seasoned professionals in our community. I've also had the honor of giving several former students their very first professional gigs at the Downtown Theater. One of those students is currently now in music school pursuing education, thanks in part to her experiences in our community and on the Downtown Theater stage. Those inspired her to want to teach the next generation. And that kind of homegrown artistic development is only possible when a city chooses to invest in and sustain its arts infrastructure, and something that I certainly wish I had as a young musician in my own community. 14 years ago, our theater's future was very uncertain. It was the commitment and the vision of the foundation that stepped up, not only keeping the lights on, but turning the venue into a thriving professional space. And without their leadership and management, that stage might have gone dark. Today, that same stage hosts productions with a level of professionalism that rivals major venues in cities like San Francisco. The technical equipment is state-of-the-art, the acoustics are stunning, and the staff bring an unwavering dedication and experience that matches any big city house. For many of the patrons and performers, the ability to experience Broadway-quality musicals and symphonic performances without having to drive to a major city is invaluable. And as a musician and conductor who has performed on stages big and small, I can say that myself and my musical colleagues truly value the Downtown Theater for its level of professionalism, but also the level of intimacy and the family environment that you can really only find in a hometown venue. And I'm always hearing from my freelancing musician colleagues that this theater we have is a really special place. The local art scene may be small in scale, but it's truly, truly mighty. The theater is more than just a venue. It's a cornerstone of our artistic ecosystem and a training ground for future professionals and a beacon of community pride. I really urge the continued support of this incredible asset, not just for what it is today, but for future generations it will continue to inspire. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next is Simone Arnett, to be followed by Aaron Godow.
Hi, Simone.
Hi, City Council. Thanks for hearing us today. I'm the Vice President of the Solano County SEIU 1021 chapter. I'm here to support the city employees that are also SEIU. I don't have anything prepared. I just wanted to say, I'm flashing back to 2015 when the county had their strike. And a lot of it is just a matter of the employees feeling respected for the work they do. I've lived in this community since I was 4 years old. I'm matriculated through school here. I chose to be a public servant in the community that raised me. Many of them do also. They just want to put food on the table, take care of their families, do a good job, feel accomplished at the end of the day. So really all that I'm asking is keep an open mind, reinvest in the employees. We know times are going to be tough. We know things are rough in the world right now. But again, it's a matter of respecting the employees. They're not just a number. They're human beings who give of their time. They do good jobs. They've kept this city running for as long as I've lived here. So I'm just saying, please have an open mind and hear them out and give them something fair. It is getting hard out there, even as a county employee. So that's all that I was here to say. I'm just here in support of them. So please come to the table and offer them something fair. Thank you.
Thank you, Simone.
Thank you.
Next is Aaron, to be followed by Megan Young.
Evening, Mayor, City Council.
Hello.
Getting to be a regular up here. Maybe I can get one of these name placards. Let's see.
Okay, we'll get you one.
So, my name is Aaron Godow, and I serve the city of Fairfield. Every day, my coworkers and I provide the essential services that make this city run: clean water, safe streets, emergency response. Fairfield works because we do. But we can't keep doing more with less. According to the January 2025 audit by Harvey M. Rose Associates, one of the most respected public sector auditing firms in the Bay Area, the city's total unassigned fund balance, including the general fund reserve, carryovers, encumbrances, and $17.3 million in additional unassigned funds, is equal to 35% of budgeted expenditures. These are unassigned funds that are unrestricted and therefore can be used for funding increases and could support the workers and the services our community relies on. A fair contract isn't just about us, it's about keeping Fairfield strong for everyone. You have the resources, now we need leadership. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Megan Young, to be followed by Marcos Cepeda.
Good evening. My name is Megan Young. Good evening, council members. Good evening, Mayor. I am here to speak on behalf of Public Works, on behalf of the workers who keep Fairfield safe, clean, and running smoothly, as well as with clean water. The city's current bargaining stance is currently out of step with reality. Proposing 0 raises, eliminating a holiday, and tripling health costs isn't just disrespectful, it's reckless. How do you expect to recruit or retain qualified staff in this economy with a proposal that cuts take-home pay and basic benefits, especially in an environment and an economy that is only increasingly getting more expensive? We've submitted reasonable proposals, updates that would improve clarity and support the workers who show up every day for this community. And quite frankly, I've only been with the city of Fairfield for 2 years in September, and I have never met more people who have worked as hard as these men that I have met. I mean, I'm a female, don't get me wrong.
Men and women, right?
Man and woman.
Woman.
In the field, that is.
Okay, okay.
The city has refused to move. And that's not bargaining, it's stonewalling, and it's threatening. And Fairfield workers, because we're not asking for the moon, we're asking for respect. We're asking for basic living benefits. Do better, please. We're begging you. Thank you.
Thank you, Megan.
Next is Marcos Cepeda, to be followed by Joe Ortiz.
All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Marcos Cepeda. I'm the lead negotiator representing the Fairfield Employees Association. We've come to the table in good faith. We've presented reasonable proposals focused on fairness, safety, and respect, improving longevity pay, fixing loopholes in holiday compensation, and supporting worker safety with improved language regarding prescription safety glasses and respirator lenses. But the city hasn't moved. The proposals include 0 cost of living increases, a tripling of the healthcare costs, and the elimination of an observed holiday. This is not bargaining in good faith. These are takeaways that hurt working families and make it harder to recruit and retain people who keep the city running. Over the last 5 years, the city has repeatedly claimed budget deficits. But year after year, it ends with a surplus. According to the financial audit by Harvey M. Rose Associates, Fairfield's actual revenues have exceeded projections by an average of 5% annually over this period. Last year alone, Fairfield brought in $2.6 million more than expected and spent $3.4 million less than budgeted in core departments like police, parks, and general services. Despite this, the workers who keep Fairfield running, from public works to public safety, are being told there's not enough for fair pay. This isn't a question of affordability, it's a question of priorities. A fair contract supports not just workers, it supports the public they serve. Fairfield works because they do, and it's time to invest in the people who invest in the city every single day. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcus.
Next is Joe Ortiz, to be followed by Dr. Mark Carmody.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Again, my name is Joe Ortiz. I am a resident here of the city of Fairfield, and I also work here and here to support my brothers and sisters. I just want to share a story that I had with these folks here from living here in Fairfield. So one day we had an issue with our water in our home, and the water started coming out from the toilets. So I looked around, I couldn't find where it was. All of a sudden I see the release valve in the front of the house was shooting water. Toxic waste is coming out, flying up. So what do? We called these folks up. They got there. It was Saturday evening around 8 o'clock. I say it was about 5 minutes. They came, they cleaned, they unclogged. They was on the city side. They unclogged everything and cleaned up all the toxic waste and made everything clean and looking like nothing ever happened. And that's just a tip of the iceberg of what these folks provide here for the city of Fairfield. And what I ask is give them a fair deal. They deserve it. They provide a vital service for our community, so do the right thing.
Thank you, Joe.
Dr. Mark Carmody.
Out of transparency, I just passed along to our mayor, it kind of goes along with the theater talks tonight, classic composers' birthdays. And July 1, there's not a real good one, but July 7th is Gustav Mahler. In fact, the Sacramento Philharmonic ended their season with a symphony from Mahler. Anyway, I do want to thank the mayor and vice mayor for coming to the listening tour. I missed the rest of you. I know you were busy. It was wonderful. As stated before, we covered a lot of topics without the 3-minute rule. How wonderful. So my final point, we've heard a lot about downtown. I was with one of my granddaughters at a field trip to Edwards Theater. So Councilman Carr, can you update us on the mall? You don't have, obviously tonight, but I mean sometime. Thank you.
I sure can.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Matthew Badu, I believe.
Matthew Badu, Travis Unified School Board member. Council, it's come to my attention that Mayor Moy is asking Travis Unified School District to partially fund the Markley Lane extension. You are asking me as a school board member to abandon my duty as an advocate for students when there is a great need within their schools. So what I see as a board member is K and TK students beginning school in the classrooms that are 67 years old. I see first, second, and third graders in the nurse's office with skinned knees and elbows who have tripped on the cracked blacktop. I see middle school students in 63-year-old buildings with outdated facilities, crumbling infrastructure above and below the ground. 1,600 high school students driven to an unsafe bottleneck each day as they are funneled into one lane on Whitney Drive. Chaos created by late school buses each and every day as students interrupt teachers' lessons. Any one of you that know me are aware that honesty and integrity are at the core of my identity. When I asked the community to support a school bond, building roads was not part of this message. I don't think the Oversight Committee would approve this expenditure. What you are asking me to do is divert funds to educate children for a road that should have been built with developer fees 20 years ago. This I cannot do. If this is difficult to understand, consider the families of Goldridge and One Lake that drive past the traffic signal for the unfinished Markley Road and through this frustrating traffic every day. They are keenly aware that they just passed a school bond to repair schools. They are also aware that school bond money is not for roads. There is an appearance that developer fees collected from the construction of these homes were misappropriated. Now, there are not many issues that move voters in city elections. Be aware that a 500-foot section of road will become one for these voters. I know budgets are complicated and roads can be expensive. I assure you
20 seconds.
that there is not one proposed road in the county that per square foot will provide more safety, utility, and happiness to the community. I ask you to make this one your highest priority. Mayor, we use our tax dollars to educate our students,
Your time
not
is
to
up.
build city streets. Thank you.
Thank you.
Did anyone else wish to speak during public comment? And there are no hands raised online.
All righty then. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to, let me take a look. I was just just so interested in what he had to say. We're going to move on to the successory agency public hearing, please.
Yes, item L1, successor agency public hearing, resolution SA 2025-02, surplus land Mangles Boulevard, declaring certain real property owned by the successor agency to the Fairfield Redevelopment Agency as surplus land. And our speaker is Jennifer Rice, real estate specialist.
And Madam Mayor, just for the record, you are now convening as the successor agency to the Fairfield Redevelopment Agency.
All right, thank you.
It's showing 0 hands, so I don't know what's wrong.
Good.
Okay.
Good evening, Board of Directors, city staff members, and members of our community. My name is Jennifer Rice, and I serve as the Economic Development Specialist for the City of Fairfield. This evening, I'm presenting an item for your consideration and approval. The item concerns a 2.95-acre parcel located on Mangles Boulevard, currently owned by the successor agency to the Fairfield Redevelopment Agency. Staff is requesting that the board declare this property as surplus land in accordance with Health and Safety Code Section 34144. The parcel in question was previously part of a disposition agreement between the Redevelopment Agency and Harvey Schein, which included an option agreement to acquire this parcel and several others in the area. The disposition agreement expired in September of 2024, and the unsold parcel was returned to the successor agency. To proceed with marketing the site for sale, the successor agency must comply with Government Code Section 54221B, which requires a formal surplus land declaration in a public meeting. This declaration is the first step in initiating the state-mandated process for disposition of property. Staff is recommending that the board approve the surplus land declaration for this parcel. This action will allow the city to begin formal process of marketing and selling the property in compliance with the law on behalf of the successor agency. That concludes my presentation. If anyone has any questions.
Okay, I'm going to open the public hearing. Do we have any public speakers on this item, ma'am?
I do not, but I was just, that there are people that wanted to speak on public comment and their hands are raised, but it's not showing on my monitor.
Okay.
So perhaps after this item is completed, we could have those.
Sure.
I can ask Jake to bring those speakers on.
Sure.
I'm not sure what's happening, but I'm not showing any hands raised.
I don't see it either.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
But I don't have any
Yes,
speakers for
Councilman
this.
Tonneson?
What's the zoning there?
Right now, it's IL, light industrial.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Nope. Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing, and then I'll entertain a motion to approve Resolution SA 2025-02.
I'll make a motion.
It's a motion. I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that was unanimous. And now we're going to go back to the public comments online for the folks who want to speak
Yes.
there.
Jake, could you bring the first person on the line? Thank you.
Okay.
Whoever would like to speak, could you raise your hand again online? All right, our first speaker, you have...
Can you speak up, please?
You have 3 minutes.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, please speak up, and if you
Hi.
could say your name, please.
My name is Dana Kermanik. I'm a constituent of District 6. Like Mayor Moy, our city representative hasn't lived in Fairfield for years. I'm tired of people who don't even live in our city making decisions that affect us. No one can deny this. There's ring camera footage, there's witnesses, there's paper trails. All you have to do is ask the neighbors, like I did, and the truth that everyone already knows but no one is talking about. Mr. Sandu, you rarely showed up at the school board meeting, and I see at the start of this meeting, you're keeping it real. Now, as a council member, you are showing the same disinterest in our neighborhoods as you showed as a school board member. We need sidewalks on Peabody so our children can safely get to school, not drones to light up the streets as you suggested in your little meeting at Gary Filati Park a few months ago. We don't have public transportation that reaches our neighborhoods in Gold Ridge North, and Gramercy Park. We don't have Markley Lane. And Mayor Moy, we're tired of our elected officials telling us to call our state representatives to fix the mistakes this city made. You were elected to represent us. It's your job to represent us. If you can't do that, I kindly ask that you give up your seat for people who actually live in Fairfield, who will show up and fight for us and our needs. Thank you.
Thank you. I know you're inaccurate, but okay.
Jake, if you could bring up...
If you have something to say, you need to put it in a card and come to the mic. Thank you. You're welcome. Please keep your mouth quiet unless you're going to come up and speak, and you have 3 minutes on the floor. Oh, yeah, I can. Watch me.
Jake, can you bring on the next person, please?
Guest 303, you have 3 minutes.
Hello.
Hi. Could you say your name, please?
My name.
Hello? Hello?
We can hear you.
We can? Well, but I haven't heard her speak since.
They left Zoom.
Did they leave? We want to give them a chance to
All we
speak.
heard was hello.
They left.
They left? All right, then we'll move on to the next.
Was there one more speaker, Jake?
Yes.
Thank you.
Hello. My
you have
God,
3
this
minutes.
thing is
Hello?
crazy.
Yes, we can hear
I
you.
keep saying hello, and then it mutes me. I don't know what you want me to do.
Okay, just speak and say your name, please.
Okay. Good evening, Fairfield. My name is Brandy Spencer. I am a citizen of Fairfield and constituent of District 6. I am livid, beyond livid, because the past 10 years, our district has had zero representation in bringing safety and security to our neighborhoods at these meetings. According to MayorMoy.com, the other various reliable media sources, our mayor doesn't even live in Fairfield. Our city representative hasn't lived in Fairfield since probably he went to Vanden and was on the school board. I'm tired of people who don't live here making decisions for us. Because it affects our loved ones. Neither of you can deny these facts, as there is way too much evidence against you. I agree with the last person who said those things. Mr. Sandu, you know good and well you do not live in this county, and you need to be honest about that. We do need sidewalks on Peabody so our children can get to school safely. And I was appalled when you brought up the thing about drones. Like, who does that? We don't have public transportation that reaches neighborhoods like Gold Ridge, north of Gramercy Park. We don't have Markley Lane, and Mayor Moy, we're tired of your elected officials telling us to call the state representatives to fix mistakes that you made. It's time for you to own your stuff and fix them. And I agree with the last person who stated, if you're not going to be elected for our best interest, then I would kindly ask you to step aside and allow someone to take over that has the best interest of our people in mind. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jake, is there anyone else?
No.
Okay, thanks so much.
All right, then, we are now going to turn to the Paradise Valley Maintenance and Monitoring District, please.
Okay, PVMD public hearings, N1, continued resolution, PVMMD 2025-02, approving fiscal year 2025 to 2026 PVMMD budget and assessments, approving the fiscal year 2025 to 2026 budget, and ordering the levy and collection of the fiscal year 2025 to 2026 assessments for the Paradise Valley Maintenance and Monitoring District. And our presenter is Chris Lewis, Senior Management Analyst.
And Madam Mayor and members of the City Council, David Lim, City Attorney, I had a chance to speak with Ms. Lewis earlier this week in preparation for this continued hearing on this resolution. Ms. Lewis confirmed there's no different presentation she needs to make, so unless you have specific questions for her, I believe she's not going to make the same presentation. We did have a closed session, as everyone is aware and was noticed on this matter. I conducted that closed session with the City Council, gave you my legal advice. So at this point, unless you have questions for Ms. Lewis, I think she's ready to just have you proceed.
All right. Was the public hearing opened last time? And if it was, did it remain open or was it closed?
I actually don't remember. I think it's safest just to reopen it and then reclose it.
I do have 4 speakers as well.
Very good. Then I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing.
Okay, thank you. Our first speaker is Theda Peck, to be followed by John Egner.
Good evening, board members. And I want to make sure everybody knows you're on the PVMMD board right now, right? Everybody knows that. I want to comment on a statement made by the last public hearing by Chris that the ad hoc committee, which consists of Rick and I, agreed that no credit would be applied this year, which we asked for, and we were promised last year that a credit, because there was an overage of the reserve, a credit would be applied. The credit was not discussed during our meeting because we went into discussing the increase of the reserve limit, which now shows a deficit of $51,000. So therefore, no credit is being applied. Rick and I both agree that if there is a significant overage of the reserve to where it should be in the reserve fund's life cycle, a credit should be provided. The reserve data provided last week shows for 25-26 that there's a reserve. So the reserve should be $1.7 million due to increasing the reserve by the CPI since 2023. The Public Works is only showing half of the data. If the CPI is added to account for future inflation, then in 2051, this reserve should be $3.1 million in the fund. If this amount is then backtracked to determine how much the fund should have in its 40-year life cycle, now this year for 25-26 point, the fund should have just under $1.2 million in it. Since we have $1.66 million estimated for 25-26, the overage is technically $473,000. I previously provided some of you a greater overage amount, but that was based on a calculation error, but it's $473,000. Fiscal year 25-26 is at the 38% mark of the 40-year conservative reserve accumulation period. With the amount of the reserves we currently hold, we are 6 years ahead of the reserve scheduled, and that's using Public Works numbers. In addition, the reserve has a deficit now. Why the slope mitigation is not being applied to eliminate this deficit. By not applying this slope mitigation, you are placing increased fee payments that current homeowners should pay onto future homeowners. This is unfair. It is not equitable, or even, and I doubt that it's even legal. Once again, I want to reiterate that the assessment fees you're going to be voting on tonight are not appropriately calculated to include proximity to the hillside or the building sizes. This results in residents paying a higher, disproportional fee amount due to special benefit variables are not being applied, which most likely violates Prop 218. Thank you.
Thank you.
John Egner, to be followed by Rick Johnson.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm here with a few concerns and want to briefly focus on 3 key areas and make 3 respectful requests. First, my understanding is the original plan was to build the reserve over a 40-year period, as recommended in both the engineer's report and the reserve study. However, it appears that timeline has been significantly accelerated. Based on the original schedule, as Theda just discussed, the reserve should be around 1.2 million, but it's already at 1.6 million. This aggressive funding places an undue burden on a small number of homeowners, even though entities like Paradise Valley Golf Course, located closer to the hillside than my own house, also benefit from this protection. Second, I'm concerned about how assessment fees are being calculated. I respectfully ask that they be reevaluated and distributed more equitably, especially based on each property's proximity to the hillside. No one group should bear a disproportionate share of the cost for a benefit shared by so many. And finally, I'm requesting a third-party performance audit to ensure that decisions are rooted in fairness and provide equitable solutions for everyone impacted. An independent review would also bring needed transparency and build public trust. Thank you for your time and your service to our community.
Thank you.
Next is Rick, to be followed by Dr. Mark Carmody.
Good evening, Board. I'm Rick Johnson. I'm an ad hoc member of the GAD, and it's my belief that a new 218 needs to take place for our GAD. The original voter-approved program has been almost fully set aside, and a new program with new methodologies is now in place. The new program does not exceed the CPI-adjusted maximum assessment from the 2010 engineer's report. So Chris is correct in stating that. It has not exceeded that CPI-adjusted number. Everything else is different. And I think we voted, or you voted for, as the board in 2010, that the program would be operated as it was presented, not just the tax amount. And that's my concern. Also, the company that wrote the original plan is NGO. They also were the company that was then hired to look at the numbers to make sure they were correct. So we had the fox looking at the hen house, something to that effect. I like him. Eric's a wonderful person, but their company is also the company that was the engineering company involved in the Broad Beach lawsuit, where a new 218 had to be redone because the engineer's report was not descriptive enough. So they are very much involved in our LLMD, or I'm sorry, our GAD in so many areas that a new 218, a new district, really should be constituted. We have homes in this that are nowhere near the hillside. I back to the hillside. I benefit. I should pay a lot more than Theta. I pay the same amount. And that's not fair. So charge me more.
Pay more if you want. Okay.
Yeah, charge me more. And I would gladly pay it. He wants you to write it down. Oh, you want to make sure he collected it. Anyway, I thank you for your time, but I've been working on this since 2015, and I think we're near the end of it, and I'm hoping that we move forward positively, we redo it, we do it in a fair and equitable way, that only properties that get special benefit of the services of the hillside improvements, that's a special improvement or special benefit, not we were able to build your house because we made a GAD. We have people that are nowhere near the danger area, but they're in the GAD. And we have other people, properties that are near the GAD that are not in the district, that were never included. Their votes were never asked for. So there's so many things about this, and that's why this board authorized an audit, a performance audit, to be accomplished that has never been done, that has never taken place. And we just want a third party to step up. Theta and I have been talking. We really want someone else to talk. and them to look at it. We could be wrong. I'm not perfect.
Oh, come on. Come on,
I've
man.
never claimed that. But I try really hard to be right, and being good and right for you is very important to me. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Rick.
Dr. Carmody?
Thank you, Board, for your time. As having a wife, 4 daughters, and 5 granddaughters, and I haven't seen my credit card in months, I really need that rebate badly. So I just want to comment. I want to thank Vice Mayor's not here, Pam, and our board members, Williams and Pandura, for voting to continue the public hearing to tonight. That was awesome, and thank you. There was 3 votes for, 2 against, and it seemed that the 2 that voted against did not say a word, didn't participate in the discussion at all. They just voted no, didn't give a reason. Our good Supreme Court justice at least giving dissenting views, so it was just for transparency. It just looks bad, guys. It'd be nice to hear why you voted no, just to continue the public hearing. Thank you for your, and again, thanks again for that, the listening tour. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Did anyone else wish to speak on this item?
Can we check online?
Jake, are there any people online that would like to speak? I'm not showing any hands, but I wasn't earlier either, so just checking.
Did he hear you? I'd like him to respond whether there's anybody there who wants to speak
There's no
on
hands
this.
raised.
I'm sorry?
No hands are raised.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Nobody else then on this? All right, then I am going to close this public hearing and bring it back for comments, questions, whatever. Any comments, questions? Oh, Councilman Sandu?
I was going to ask if staff could maybe comment on maybe some of the public comment made and address some of that for us.
Sure. Is there any one in particular, or I was kind of taking some notes. Hopefully I caught it all.
You could just start. Yeah,
Okay.
Thanks.
So one of the first comments was that there was a credit promised to the residents from last year. The credit that's being referred to is last year at the direction of the board, we were directed to maintain just the target reserve amount of $1.57 million, and last year at the time of the discussion we had about $1.6 something million in reserve, and so we were supposed to use that difference to offset the assessments in this fiscal year if we could maintain the target reserve balance, which was $1.57 million in 2022 dollars. Escalated with the CPI. Unfortunately, we were not able to maintain that target balance if we were to give the credit that was being referred to. So that's why the credit wasn't provided, or the offset of assessments wasn't provided, I should say. I'd also like to comment, there was two residents who mentioned about a 40-year schedule for how long it would take to build this fund balance. As mentioned last year during the presentation, this 40-year schedule, it wasn't a schedule. It wasn't proposed. It wasn't recommended. In fact, the concept didn't even exist until the 2018 Reserve Fund study that was published by the city. We hired NGO to conduct that study. The statements that were made in that report was that if we had followed the pro forma budget, or according to the pro forma budget, of course those are estimated numbers, back in 2010, if we had followed that, then it would have taken about 40 years to reach the recommended target reserve balance. So it was just kind of giving us some context to how long it might have taken us. But again, that wasn't a formal recommendation, and in fact, at the end of that report, the recommendations that NGO provided to the board to consider was we could either continue on the same path and just continue to collect assessments at the same rate to meet that target reserve, or we can, kind of pause on collecting assessments and take it slower to meet the fund balance amount. Let's see. The homes far away from the GAD, I think there's been some mention of homes that are within the district that residents believe might not should be in the district. I will say that there were some geologic studies done at the time prior to development even happening that determined that the entire land area was subject to geologic hazards. And so the requirement for the homes to be within the district was because there were geologic hazards in the area. And so that's why the requirement was placed on the development, and that's why the city created the district. So the district wasn't created because we just wanted to place requirements on the development. The requirements were placed on the development because of the geologic hazards. Was there anything else particular?
Who dictates the reserve amount? Is that state policy or just municipal policy?
No, that is a policy set by the board. And of course, we did have the formal, and I'm sorry, I'm pointing over here because this is Eric Carroll, who's with NGO. He assists the city in managing the district. So that is the recommendation by NGO in order to address any significant geologic events in the area.
Got it, thanks.
Councilman Tonneson.
Yeah, I'll comment. I don't have any problem doing that whatsoever. We've spent hundreds of hours over the years on this, and I've been on council since 2020. I've certainly read all this, done some numbers myself. I agree with staff. Me and Rick I consider us family. I disagree with the numbers. I agree with staff, and that's the way I'll be voting again tonight.
Councilman Doug.
And also, I took the time to read all the literature given by both sides, and to comment on it is I agree also with the staff's findings, and I'll be voting the same.
Any other comments? No. I will be voting no tonight, and the reason for that, there are several, and I have concerns, and those concerns include some of the questions that have been raised by the residents and also ongoing litigation. I also voted no at that time, and staff told us to vote yes. I was the only no at that time that caused the litigation. And so I'm gonna stay with the folks here, and I'll be voting no tonight. So I'm gonna call for the vote. Does anybody want to make a motion to pass, or?
I'll make a motion for call for the vote.
Okay.
I'll second.
And
I'm sorry,
second?
can it be a motion to approve Resolution PVMMD 2025-02, approving the FY 2025-2026 PVMMD budget and assessments? Is that the motion?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
And that's a second from Councilman Tonneson. Okay, I'm gonna do a roll call vote on this, please.
Just grab my page. Okay. Councilmember Carr?
Yes.
Councilmember Panduro?
Yes.
Councilmember Santu?
Yes.
Councilmember Tonneson?
Yes.
Councilmember Williams?
Yes.
Vice Mayor is absent. Mayor Moy?
No. So that is a 5-1, and it passes. Thank you.
Okay, I'm just a little confused because I heard Councilmembers Carr and Tonneson both say they were going to vote no.
No, there were yes votes.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. Now, finally, we're going to move to the consent calendar.
Consent calendar. All matters listed on the consent calendar are to be approved with one motion unless a member of the City Council or the public requests that separate action be taken on a specific item.
And just for the record, we are reconvening as the Fairfield City Council.
Thank you.
And I don't have, let's see, I do have one speaker card for item P2, so I can pull that.
Okay, yes, please,
Item P2, Resolution 2025-121, Markley Lane reconnection project, authorizing the city manager to execute a professional services agreement with Bennett Engineering Services, Inc. to provide design services for the Markley Lane reconnection project. And our speaker is Matthew Badu.
Council members, Matthew Badu. I represent a school board seat on Travis Unified School Board. And this, I'm commenting on what the city manager put out a couple pages here real quick. So $22 million project, there's no Markley Lane. I understand what you're doing here. Another project had to fall off the radar, and thank you, we got a little slice of that. We didn't get all of it. So a year later, after we approve the little slice, now we're going to do the design. That doesn't put any dirt in a shovel. It doesn't do anything. So let's rewind for a quick second because I don't have much time here. We can go back to the civil grand jury complaint that was posted on the danger with no Markley Lane. Okay, the city manager talks about at the time they took out Markley, they put in Viking Lane. I agree with everything that's there, David, but what we left out is we didn't have the congestion there. We didn't have the late school buses because what Fairfield had them do is put in a dirt road just for the buses. So as soon as the project finished, yeah, Viking Lane was pretty good. And that went Markley Lane, they're still in Markley Lane. So here we go. It's been years, people, years, okay? So you have that whole Whitney neighborhood there, and I got to tell you, you know, we're together. We're a family out there because if there's a disaster out there or something happens, a fire right there, we have the base, right? Do you think everyone from Whitney Lane's going to say, oh, we'll stay in our houses, you get all these 4,000 kids out of here? It's not going to happen. It is not going to happen. It's going to be gridlocked, and there's nowhere for those kids and staff to go without Markley Lane. Markley Lane comes right out by a Viking Lane and right out to Peabody. We can get these people out of there. I've been here over and over again. I've only got a few seconds left, so I'd like to say one other thing. You know, Mayor Moy, you have repeatedly lied to me, to the people out there. You don't call back, on and on and on. And I'm going to tell you something. I hope that you can give this a little bit of attention because I promise you at election time, especially the way you treated this one lady that comes here, I'm sorry, there is absolutely no excuse to act like that. So you're just, well, whatever. I'm not going to say any more and embarrass myself. You know what? Thank you for listening.
Thank you. And were you speaking for the school board or yourself, sir? Just for the record.
For the record, I've been here for almost 3 years, and every time that I've spoken, I'm speaking as a school board member, as one member of that school board.
Thank you.
But that's good, because I'm going to try to bring the whole school board to the next meeting. Thank you. Thank you very much.
They're welcome to be here, sir. Thank you. All right. So we're going to go ahead and vote on this, unless you have any questions, comments. All right. I'll take a motion to approve. I'll move that.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That was unanimous. Thank you. And now we'll go back to the rest of the consent calendar. Do we have any public speakers?
I do not. Did
All right.
anyone else wish to speak on any of the P items? Okay.
Okay, then I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar. Second. Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, now we're going to turn to new business.
New business. Q1.
Yes.
Resolution 2025-125, declaring Fairfield as an America 250 city, declaring Fairfield as an America 250 city, marking the celebration of our nation's 250th anniversary and official city initiative, and authorizing partnerships with other Solano County government and nonprofit organizations to further America's semi-quincentennial celebration. And our presenter is Liz Aptekar, Assistant to the City Manager.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, council members, staff, and community members. I'm Liz Aptekar, Assistant to the City Manager, and great job, Karen, on semi-quincentennial, the word of 2026.
That's a long one.
Yes, 2026 will mark the United States semi-quincentennial, or 250th anniversary. It is actually all one word, so don't be afraid that it's in 3 parts on the screen. We do actually know how to spell it. It's all one word. I just do that so everybody can practice together. So shall we say that 5 times fast? Semi-quincentennial.
Just say it one more time.
Semi-quincentennial. Okay, I think we got it. America 250, also known as AM 250, is a nationwide commemoration of our nation's founding, history, and future, and a way for cities across the nation to formally pledge to celebrate throughout 2026. We look forward to additional council support through encouraging public participation and partnerships through the creation and support of local events and initiatives, and promoting education and civic pride. Pending your approval, our next steps will include submitting this resolution and our formal pledge to the America 250 Commission, setting up a planning committee, and partnering with organizations in support of 3 core events and initiatives. The 3 main planning concepts for 2026 are Project 1 of 3, the 100-year Fairfield Downtown Arch, a historical landmark update with the Lions Club. Project 2 of 3, a public call for art for a Veterans Memorial concept. And finally, culminating with the 4th of July Parade, a city original signature event highlighting AM 250 initiatives. Of note, the America 250 Commission is not a granting organization, and there are no funds that are provided. Besides staff time, materials, and volunteer efforts, our goal will be to raise enough funds to help with these 3 main concepts. Our main points of contact to facilitate this initiative are Keisha Mamarel from Economic and Community Development, Marisa Kumpian from Public Works, and me from the City Manager's Office, plus the Planning Committee. Together, let's make America 250 a memorable and unifying celebration for all. Thank you, and I'm open to questions.
Well, if that wasn't a bright spot tonight, wasn't it? Fantastic.
You should have had a little firework go off.
Pew, pew.
Sparklers.
Those are not allowed in Fairfield.
Yes.
Good point, good
point. Well, do we have any public speakers on this?
I do not.
All right.
Did anyone wish to speak? No.
Councilman Doug?
There's a few of us here that remember the bicentennial.
Right?
Just a couple of us.
Wait a minute, weren't you here for this one?
You mean when
And,
it's 250 years?
I think that I hope to exceed that one, that's all.
Excellent.
All right. Any other comments or questions? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. And thank you, Liz, for all of your work on this. It's been a lot, I know. And I really appreciate you. You've done a great job.
Great
Thank
job,
you.
Liz.
Very good.
All right, now we're going to go to public hearings.
Yes, R1, Resolution 2025-126, surplus land, Sassoon Valley Road, declaring certain real property owned by the City of Fairfield as surplus land, and our presenter is Jennifer Rice, Real Estate Specialist.
I'm back, and I apologize that I have to follow Liz. I have nothing that exciting. It's just more surplus land. Sorry, guys. I'm back. Now, Mayor Moy, City Council, again, city staff, members of the public. As you know, Jennifer Rice, Economic Development Specialist for the City of Fairfield. Let me double check. Get the right one on. I am back this evening presenting another item for your consideration and approval. The item concerns a 6.71 acre parcel located off of Sassoon Valley Road, currently owned by the City of Fairfield. Staff is requesting that City Council declare this property surplus land in accordance with Health and Safety Code 34144. The parcel was previously part of the Interstate 80 truck stop project, which was shut down several years ago. In 2015, the city acquired the 6.71 acre parcel from the then former redevelopment agency. The property is currently landlocked and does not serve any public purpose. To proceed with the marketing and sale of the site, the city must comply with Government Code Section 54221B, which requires a formal surplus land declaration in a public meeting. This declaration is the first step to initiating the state-mandated process for disposition of the property. Staff recommends that council approve the surplus land declaration for this parcel. This action will allow the city to begin the formal process of marketing and selling the property in compliance with state law. Again, I have concluded. If anybody has any questions about this one.
I do have one speaker.
Okay, I'm going to open the public hearing.
Okay. Nora Dizon.
Mayor Moy and City Council members.
Hi, Nora.
Hi. I'm very concerned about this, and it's because you have or are going to put the increase of sales tax percentage. We all know the city needs more sales tax revenue. And this is a parcel that we hope will, in fact, fulfill part of that. And so if you really think about the long-term impact and benefit for the city, it is for the city to retain control of that so that the adjoining parcel, which is owned by Discovery Builders, the city can have some sort of influence to make sure that they do provide a plan that will bring the sales tax revenue that we need. And why would you just give it away? So it's been something we've been saying for many years now. We need to increase sales tax revenue. We've been saying that since 2017, 2016. Sorry, it didn't, there wasn't agreement before in other parcels where it should have been kept commercial, retail. This one should. And the city needs to retain some sort of leverage. And if you just put it out there and let them buy it, well, heck, they can put any kind of project in front of you. So I hope you will vote no against this one. Thank you.
Thank you, Nora. Yes.
Did anyone else wish to speak? No?
Right, I'm going to close the public hearing, and then, Councilman
Can you go
Thomas
back
and-
one screen?
Sure.
Two? Yeah. So that's the parcel there. We're landlocked from Sino Land, whoever owns it, regardless, it's worth more to them than it is to us. What is and I'm not trying to throw a gotcha question out there, but what is the soil type there, or the soil condition?
Offhand, I'm not aware. I can find out for you, though, if you'd like.
But what can be built on that piece?
Whatever.
I think what you're asking about and referring to is that there is ground soil contamination, so there's restrictions on what can be built there. So, for example, like housing, for example, could never be built there. I know that's not what the plan is, but that's the type of thing that can't be built there. There's restrictions on it from the Groundwater Quality Management Board because of the contamination at the site.
And in order for us to want to build something there or use that land, we would have to retain an easement of some type or some kind of agreement with the adjoining landowner.
Yeah, I mean, correct. The adjoining landowner, but as well as I imagine, and I would have one of our, if anybody from planning's here, the overall sort of plan for everything that's on all of that site there, I would imagine is going to need and require some sort of reciprocal easement agreement for access. because you'll have adjoining uses that eventually will need to cross over each other's properties, and typically that, I don't know if they'll be doing that through reciprocal easements or how exactly that mechanism will be, but yes, there will be.
But it's surplus
joint
land, and it's not
access.
worth that much to us.
This
Thank you.
is just
Great
action
presentation.
itself.
Yes, Councilman Doug.
Yeah, and I worked at that truck stop as a kid, you know, and the diesel fuel and all that. I talked to a few people. I mean, for us to do anything on that, we'd have to remove 8 to 25 feet of the soil, costing millions of dollars. So, yeah, I think that's fine.
Any other questions?
Just one follow-up. Can you maybe just repeat why it can't be zoned anything besides a public facility? The
Why-
current zoning of it is public.
The current zoning is public facility, yes. Somebody could come in and request a zone change, go through that process.
Is there, can you repeat the reason for the, you mentioned the land has some chemicals in it?
Yeah, it's soils contamination from, as Councilmember Carr, I assume, going back to I'd have to go back to the report, but it's from, the prior use contaminated. And so, yeah, anytime that happens, you have limitations on what then can be built on it without massive mitigation efforts where, you come in and dig down in the soils, remove the soils, bring back fresh soil, recompact, so on and so forth.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I have a question. The adjoining land, who owns that now? Is it still?
I believe it's still Discovery Builders.
Discovery?
Just north.
Okay.
And then a separate owner to the right.
To the right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And do you know if Discovery Builders wants to put homes in there?
To my knowledge, the proposed development has been commercial and residential mixed. I don't know that anything has been submitted specifically, but.
Oh, hi.
I'm gonna come from the bullpen. Good evening, Mayor and council members. So right now, currently, North Bay Health purchased a large part of what Discovery once owned there at the site. And they've subdivided the site. As the city manager said, they will have to work, and they are working with our planning staff right now. There's a couple different applications in various stages of review on reciprocal easements, and there's a DWR water line through there, and there's some other things. So there's some challenges. I think, as everyone knows, North Bay has been acquiring a lot of real estate in that general part of our city for a while, so they are figuring out some future plans, nothing public yet. And as for the folks at Discovery, they've submitted some things. We're waiting on some additional information. One of the things that will be required for the development of that site, whatever should go there in the future, will be a general plan amendment. Because based on what you approved in the general plan that was adopted last year, so that's going to come to you at some point. So in terms of future legislative action, our ability to work with folks, that's our that's the next step at some point, I'll say.
So about how much land did North Bay buy? Or how much is,
a little over 30 acres.
30 acres. And then how big is that whole thing?
So the
40?
parcel that Discovery had at the time was, I want to say, about 44.
So they're left with 10, 14 acres.
Yeah, so
That's it.
they'll have that.
So I don't think, where are you? There's no threat, Just saying. We know a little bit more, but we can't talk. Anyway, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Tie Jen back in.
Don't go far.
Don't go far. All right, so we're going to go ahead and then move forward. I already closed the public hearing. Want to approve, move to approve? There, got motion and then a second. All in favor?
I'm sorry, do we get a verbal motion and a verbal second, please?
Yes.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That was unanimous. And now we're going to, thank you very much. We're going to item R2, please.
Okay, item R2, resolutions 2025-127 through 2025-144, approving fiscal year 2025 to 2026 landscaping and lighting maintenance district budgets and assessments, approving the fiscal year 25 to 2026 engineers reports, confirming the fiscal year 2025 to 2026 diagrams and assessments, and ordering the fiscal year 2025 through 2026 improvements for landscaping and lighting maintenance districts number 1, Gateway, number 3, Waterman Highlands, number 5, Smith Ranch, number 6, Pepper Tree, number 7, Rolling Hills, number 8, Colib Estates, number 10, Southbrook, number 11, Paradise Valley North, number 12, Downtown Business District, number 13, North Cordelia, number 14, Woodlake, number 15, Goldridge, number 16, Creekside at Cordelia, number 17, Chadbourne, Beck, Cordelia, number 18, Goldridge Park, number 19, Corporate Commons, number 2023-1, Gateway, and number 2023-11, Paradise Valley. And our presenter again is Chris Lewis, Senior Management Analyst.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. On June 3rd, the council adopted resolution numbers 2025-80 through 2025-97, to begin the approval process to levy the annual 25-26 assessments in all 18 of the city's active landscaping and lighting maintenance districts. And the final step in that annual process is to hold a public hearing and adopt the resolutions before you to approve the 25-26 engineers reports, budgets, and to order the levy and collection of assessments. So the specific proposed levies for each district and each parcel, they vary. There's a lot of them. You can find details of those specific levy amounts in the staff reports and resolutions, but generally speaking, the levies for 9 of the 18 active districts are proposed at the maximum allowable rates just to meet operational costs for those districts. The levies in districts number 1 and 11, which are the old Gateway and Paradise Valley districts, they are significantly less than the maximum rates because those 2 districts were replaced in 2023 by districts 2023-1 and 11. And now the old Gateway and Paradise Valley districts only exist to pay the loans, general fund loans that were issued in 2022. And as for the other districts that we are collecting less than the max rates, all of those districts have a CPI built into their assessment rates. They have lower operational costs relative to their maximum assessment revenue that the city can collect, and they also have healthy fund balances, so there's no need to collect maximum rates to build any fund balance in those districts. Attached to each resolution for each district is the annual engineers report and a 5-year budget forecast. Now, for the 7 districts that participated in the 2023 Proposition 218 process but were not approved for new replacement districts, we are projecting that over the next 5 years, those districts will continue to have to supplement their annual assessment revenue with their available fund balances. Now, even with that annual supplement, we still anticipate that those districts will still continue to experience a reduction of services over time, since those revenues don't increase from year to year, because many of those districts don't have an automatic CPI or consumer price index inflator attached to those assessments. And then we will also eventually run out of fund balance. For all the other districts, we anticipate that assessment revenues will not only be able to sustain existing services, but also support approximately 3% of CPI increases for operational expenses over the next 5 years. But of course, staff, we're going to continue to monitor the district budgets, we'll adjust operational expenses as necessary, and then we'll also bring our updated projections to council each year for approval. But we also want to make sure that we're maintaining solvency for each district. We want to make sure that we're building in enough time to communicate with the respective communities should there be a shortfall at any time in the rolling 5-year period. And then we also just want to make sure we're fostering better communications and transparency with the community. So we'll be doing that each year. So the last step in the annual process and the recommended council action I have for you tonight is to hold a public hearing and adopt the resolutions to approve the engineers' reports, budgets, and order the levy and collection of 25-26 assessments in each district. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing. Have any speakers, please?
I do not have any speakers. Did anyone wish to speak about this matter? No? Okay.
All right, then I'm going to go ahead and close this public hearing. Any questions, comments, anything on this? All right, I'll entertain a motion. And I have a question first. Sure. To the city attorney. I'm sorry to point at you. Can we take these all in one vote?
Yes, you can do it so your options are you can make a motion to approve all resolutions 2025-127 through 2025-144. You can make separate motions for each one. You can move to not approve certain ones. So whatever you want to do. But you can do them all in one fell motion if you'd like.
All righty then. Okay. Anybody want to make that motion?
I'll make a motion to have all of them in one.
One, okay.
Second.
Second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'm a no, so that's 5-1. And it passes. Thank you. And so next, we're going to go.
Sorry, was it, did you make the second, Manveer? Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. What was that? Somebody talking out of line again? No, I say. Public comments closed, bro. All right, so, wait a minute. So,
R3 was continued, so R4?
okay, you know what, I'm gonna take a 5-minute break because I need to use the restroom.
Okay, thank you.
So, yeah, give me 5 minutes, thanks. we are moving on to the next item.
Yes, item R4, Resolution 2025-147, appeal of the denial of the permit application for a massage establishment located at 1328 West Texas Street, approving, sustaining, or denying/overruling the appeal of the denial of the business permit application for massage establishment located at 1328 West Texas Street, Fairfield, California 94533, pursuant to Chapter 10A, Section 10A, 11, 10A.5, and 10A.6, and Section 25.22.2 of the Fairfield Municipal Code. And is our presenter David Lim, City Attorney?
Yes. Good evening, Madam Mayor and members of the City Council. This is Resolution 2025-147, an appeal by the owners of the massage establishment located at 1328 West Texas Street, denying or appealing the denial of the permit application by the City of Fairfield Code Enforcement Team. This is an appeal hearing, so at this hearing, the City Council will be acting as an administrative hearing officer to make a determination whether to approve the appeal brought by the owners or to deny the appeal, which is basically to uphold the finding of the code enforcement team. A couple matters preliminarily before I turn it over to the mayor. By operation of law, the city attorney cannot act as both an advisory attorney to the hearing body, which is the City Council, and also advocate on behalf of city staff. So the city has on retainer Joanne Tran, who you've all met before, who helps staff with these administrative hearings. She will be representing code enforcement team tonight. I will be acting in purely an advisory role and not advocating for one position over the other. Here present today are the owners, or is the owner of the massage establishment. I'm going to ask her to stand up and say her name. And I think what we'll do at this point is have her stand and raise her hand, and have the two code enforcement officers who are present for the city also stand and raise your hand and be sworn in for this hearing. So, ma'am, will you please stand? And the two code enforcement officers, will you please stand? Raise your right hand, please. And, sir, I know that you're the owner's wife, or owner's husband. If you want to help her by translating, you feel free to do that, okay? Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're going to give at this hearing shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Okay. And that's an affirmative response from all three. You may be seated. Members of the hearing board, just again preliminarily to give you some background information, both sides at the time they made their appeal had a chance prior to this hearing to present information to be entered into the record. You have in front of you 6 items. One is the agenda report for tonight, written by city staff and looked over by the city attorney and Ms. Tran. The second is the proposed resolution 2025-147, which will be the decision document for you. Number 3 is a copy of the original permit application by the owner, Miracle Massage. Item number 4 is the denial letter issued by code enforcement to Miracle Massage on May 6, 2025. Item number 5 is the request for appeal from the owner of Miracle Massage and her husband requesting this appeal. And item 6 is document number 250624, which are some photos and other documents submitted by the owners of Miracle Massage for the hearing body's consideration. Before I continue, can I confirm from both sides, is there any other evidence that either side would like to submit now before this hearing begins? If you don't, if you want to submit it during the hearing, you can, but at this point, does any party have anything else they wish to submit? Ma'am and husband, do you have anything else you want to submit? Okay, that's a negative answer. Does the city have anything else they want to submit?
The city staff has submitted a PowerPoint presentation.
Okay, and that's queued up into the system? Yes. Okay, so there is a PowerPoint presentation. To the massage owners, have you had a chance to look at that? Did anyone provide that to you? Okay, are you comfortable going forward and just looking at it as you go, and we'll give you time to respond to it if you feel like you need to respond? Or do you want to take a minute to look at it? Okay, so they're going to go forward and proceed. Also, I should mention, Madam Mayor and the hearing body, before this hearing began, during the break, I had a chance to talk to the business owner and her husband. They asked me some preliminary questions just about process. I want to confirm that they were considering asking for a continuance to hire a lawyer. Do you still want to proceed without a lawyer at this point?
Yes.
Okay, so they're still proceeding. They've decided not to retain counsel, so they're going to proceed. At this point, Madam Mayor, it's on you. I would recommend, since Miracle Massage brought the appeal, that you should let them speak first. Give them both equal time, so however much time you want, I would do it equally for both sides. Let Miracle Massage go first, then let the city respond with equal time, and then let Miracle Massage finish, since it's their appeal.
Yes.
So they get two bites of the apple.
I do have one question about
Why don't you come up to the dais, sir, and you can speak.
Yes, I do. My name is George Davis. I'm the husband of Miss Lee Bendong, who's the owner of Miracle Massage. I do have one question, though. Because I haven't seen their PowerPoint presentation, I would prefer that I see that before I speak on what I have to say, if you have
Okay.
no objection to that.
I don't have any objection. Oh,
Okay, well, if I'm just looking at this, I need a moment to
yes,
review it.
please, go ahead. Are you going to be presenting anything?
I will be presenting.
You'll present?
Yes, I'll be presenting the PowerPoint.
You will, okay. Do you prefer that they go first, sir?
I do.
Okay,
if that's
we're
okay.
going to have, is that okay? Yeah. Why don't you come up and present first?
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Should I just sit down?
You can sit down. Yes, thank you. No. I'll timer and then give the same to them.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and... Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Lim. I've actually never been in this position before. So, good evening, Honorable Mayor and the City Council. My name is Joanne Tran, and I've been retained to represent the city staff tonight. Also with me here are Code Enforcement Officers Darren Eltringham and Officer Minerva Figueroa. We're here tonight to discuss Mrs. Lee Bin Dong's appeal of the city's denial of her massage permit application for Miracle Massage. Under Fairfield Municipal Code Section Chapter 10A-22, anybody who is aggrieved by the grant or denial of the massage permit can appeal to the City Council, and that's why we're here tonight. And under Section 10A.20, grounds for granting or denying a massage permit includes subsection 4, if the massage establishment would not comply with the requirements of this chapter or other applicable law, rule, or regulation, including but not limited to any local or state building, fire, zoning, and health regulations. So I'll briefly go over the facts of this case. On February 26, 2025, Mrs. Dong submitted her application to the city for a massage permit. Fairfield Force Encouragement Officers Eltringham and Figueroa were assigned to review and process the application. On March 4th, 2025, the officers allowed Mrs. Dong to open her massage business with on a probationary period to establish the logbook. There's a logbook rule in Chapter 10A. While her application was being reviewed, Mrs. Dong and her husband were informed that there would be a drop-in inspection at a later time, and that they should make sure they would follow the Municipal Code Section 10A for massage therapy regulations, and that failure to comply would result in a denial of the permit. On May 2nd, 2025, the officers conducted the drop-in inspection and they found various violations of Chapter 10A. These violations include Section 10A.11B, close supervision required. This violation was actually later removed by the officers when they realized that Mrs. Dong was actually present during the inspection. However, Mrs. Dong did fail to notify the officers of an employee's presence, Ms. Diana Hua He, and thus the officers had not had a chance to check with the California Massage Therapy Council for Mrs. He's disciplinary actions. So the code section does require that any employee that's giving massages be either listed on the application or be notified to the code enforcement officers. Another violation was Section 10A.5H, clean linens required. The officers found towels that were displayed in the open in a basket and not in a closed cabinet as required. Another violation was Section 10A.6, record of treatment not being filled out correctly. This is the main and big violation. The code requires that any person getting a massage must be logged in a code book, including their names, addresses, the amount that they paid, including gratuity. The logbook was missing critical information such as time, first names, last names, and addresses. The code enforcement officers looked through a drawer and found receipts. None of the names that were listed on the receipt was listed in the logbook under the corresponding dates. Another violation is Section 10A.5D, inadequate lighting. The massage treatment rooms had incorrect light bulbs so that the rooms were dimly lit. Another violation is Section 25.22.2, sleeping on premises. The code enforcement officers found lockers and drawers that were meant for client use were being used to store business-related and personal employee items. It seemed that massage chairs were being used for napping or sleeping. There were a lot of food found in the refrigerator and freezer, as well as multiple shelves of non-perishable food. All of that suggests to the officers that the premises were being used for residential purposes, which is not consistent with the property's commercial zoning designation. And then, of course, Section 27.401R, any violation of the city code is a public nuisance. On May 6, 2025, the city sent a denial of massage permit letter to Mrs. Dong. On May 11, 2025, Mrs. Dong sent a letter appealing the denial, and she contends that each of the violation has been remedied. As you can see here, it says that all of the employees were closely supervised. She says that they've changed the way that towels are being stored and that they will comply with the logbook rules and have appropriate lighting in the massage rooms and that they will not sleep on premises. So pursuant to Section 10A.20, subsection 4, the code enforcement officers denied the permit on the grounds that Mrs. Dong, a Miracle Massage, violated several provisions of the city's municipal code section. As I said earlier, when the officer allowed Mrs. Dong to open on a probationary period, he informed them that they must comply with Chapter 10A, and that if the inspection shows that there was a failure to comply with the regulations, then he would deny the massage permit. Miracle Massage and Mrs. Dong failed to the inspection, and thus the permit was denied. I also want to stress that city staff is especially concerned with massage establishments and that they are getting very serious about clamping down on unlawful behavior with massage establishments. They are especially concerned with Miracle Massage because in the last 4 years, there have been 4 different owners. And the previous 3 owners also all failed to comply with Chapter 10A, and they all failed to comply with the logbook rule. Every time this happened, Officer Eltringham would either deny the massage permit or send a preliminary notice to abate the public nuisance, and then the owner would sell the property, which is why there's been 4 different owners in the last 4 years. City staff is also very concerned about unlawful massages that are sexual in nature that happen at massage establishments. In the last 6 months, there have been 2 reports of sexual assault at 2 different massage establishments, not Miracle Massage, but at 2 different massage establishments in the city of Fairfield. And city staff recently learned that Miracle Massage is listed on a website that helps customers find massage parlors that offer unlawful massages. It's sort of like a Yelp page for unlawful massages. Oasis Spa, which was listed by Mrs. Dong on her permit application as her last employer. She says she was a manager there for the last 3 years. Oasis Spa is also listed on this website for offering unlawful massages. So city staff believe that if this appeal is granted, then Miracle Massage will likely continue to violate the regulations of Chapter 10A. And that concludes my presentation.
So we'll wait for questions until we hear from the owners. So that was 9 minutes. You can have 10 minutes to respond, if you would, sir.
Well, that was a mouthful. Let's start with the refrigerator being full of food. I'm sure you folks have a break room in your building somewhere, and I'm certain that there's food in it. I don't know what to say about that. The girls get hungry, they want to eat, they bring food there. That's a no-brainer. I mean, come on, really? The lighting issue, if these code enforcement officers would have flipped the switch, the lights would have been perfect. The lights are on during massage, overhead fluorescent lights, which far exceed 40 watts. By the way, these other small lamps that are in the room have all been changed to 40-watt bulbs. The towels that were left out, let's talk about that. That is very interesting. You do have pictures of the basket. Those were hand towels that were being prepared to be put into a hot towel warmer. You also have a picture of a cabinet where you see towels stored, which is the proper storage compartment for, the linens, okay? There is nobody sleeping at the premises, overnight sleeping. Okay, if you know anything about a massage business at all, there's a lot of downtime. This is a very small establishment. These ladies aren't hustling, bustling all day long. There's great periods of time in between a massage where they're sitting on the chairs, even watching the TV that they have there, because quite frankly, there's nothing else to do. But there is absolutely nobody sleeping at the premises. The locker that they mentioned about personal items, that's where the ladies put their purse and lock it, because as she mentioned, there's been sexual assaults at businesses, which quite frankly is a very concerning issue for my wife. That's why she doesn't want to be there by herself. There's a lot of homeless people in front of this business, a lot, on a daily basis. And on occasion, they come into the business, and she has to get them out. I was there one time when a homeless man came in with beer cans, and I immediately told him, get out of here, you can't be in here, There's as far as the website, that's not I believe, if she wasn't specific, Mrs. Tran, is that correct?
Yes.
She was not specific on what website she was talking about, but the only website that I'm aware of is called, oh goodness, it slips my mind. Anyway, it is not an advertising website. What it is a website that men, for whatever reason, when they go to a massage business, can go there and put comments about the type of service they received with no filter at all. You know, it's an out-of-country website, and they pay money to put these comments on there. There's no protection for the ladies whatsoever, that they have no ability to be able to rebuke what's being said, okay? They have none. I mean, anybody could go on there and say anything, you know. I mean, it's sad to say, you know, Mayor Moy, somebody could go on there and mention your name. That's very possible.
They will tomorrow, yeah.
That's very possible. And there would be nothing you could do about it, quite frankly. Again, this website is out of this country, and you would have no way to do anything. Anyway, there is no sexual anything happening at this business. As far as the lady that was there at the time of their inspection, massage therapist turnover is very fluid. It happens a lot. The women that come in to perform massage are very interested in making money, okay? If they come in, if you're able to get somebody to come in, first of all, they come in and see the place and they go, I don't want to work here. This is not like, it doesn't look very safe. Secondly, once they come in, they maybe stay for a day or two, and then they decide, no, I'm not going to stay here. I mean, I think for today, example, they had 0 customers, none. That happens frequently. Not all the time. Sometimes they'll have 2 or 3 customers. Sometimes 5. I don't think since she's been open, they've had more than, I think, what's the most customers you've had in one day? Yeah, well, she tells me the most customers she's had in one day is about 8 customers in one day. So we're not talking, you know, large volume of people. So it's very difficult to make money in this business, okay? Yeah, as far as the logbook goes, now there's a strong issue with that. Not that she doesn't want to comply with that, but one, we have an issue with the recording of a client's name, address, phone number. First of all, there is California Civil Code 1747.08, which I would like clarification on, that says you cannot ask a person paying by a credit card for their information. You're not allowed to, according to this code. Yet the city code says that I have to do that. So I'm asking to the council, can you clarify, am I to violate California Civil Code 1747.08 in order to comply with your code? That's the question addressed to the council. We're not in objection to writing down any information. Oftentimes, customers don't want to give their address. It's just for whatever reason. And for a business of this small size, in order to be semi-successful, if we're turning away customers because they don't want to give us their address, is that what we're supposed to do? Just say, sorry, you can't have a massage because you won't give me your address. By the way, massage is classified under, what is it classified under? Not special services. Anyway, the classification that it is under applies to other types of businesses, not massage. Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought here. Barbers, nail shops, estheticians. Let's use esthetician, for example. They are licensed through the state of California. They are legally allowed to give a massage, head, neck, shoulders, arms, hands, feet up to the knee. So basically from the neck down, they can't touch, okay? With no requirement of any such need for recording of anything, okay? And if I could get a little graphic, if they're in the performance of their services, if a male or female chose to come in and have a waxing job, they are completely allowed to expose the genitals of a male and a female, not only expose, but touch, with no supervision whatsoever from the state, from the city. There's nothing in your code that covers that. A massage business, however, is scrutinized so thoroughly that, trying to comply with, all our customers are draped. All male customers are draped, all female customers are draped, bottom and top, and it remains that way during the massage, so.
You have about 45 seconds
45
left.
seconds, okay, well, that's pretty
For
much
now.
it. That's
Yeah.
where, that's that's pretty much my presentation. It is not that we are not willing to comply with any of this, but any other code violation normally would at least give okay, you have a code violation here, you need to correct it, and if you continually don't, then, okay, we're going to shut you down. But immediately shut us down for very minor issues. I don't know of any business that doesn't have food on the premise. Everywhere, okay? And the sleeping, again, I don't need to go over that again. I've already covered that. But anyway, that's pretty much all I have.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Your time is up, and we'll have staff, if they want to add or ask questions, and then bring you back up.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is there anything that you all want to add or answer to?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. I just want to address the credit card payment and logging that information in the logbook. So under California Civil Code Section 1747-08, subsection C actually says that this code section does not apply in the following instances. And under C, it says that the person, firm, partnership, association, or corporation accepting the credit card, if they are obligated to collect and record such personal information by federal or state law or regulations, then this section does not apply. And the Fairfield Municipal Code section does require that this information be collected and logged in the logbook. That is it. Thank you.
Thank you for clarifying that. Okay, so you can come up for another minute, because that's what she did, and go ahead and close it out, and then if we have questions up here, we'll bring you
really
up.
have anything else to add. I appreciate that update. I missed that part about the code.
Sure,
That's why I was asking for clarification.
yeah.
If you folks have any questions for me, please feel free to ask.
Oh, yeah, hold on just a second. I'm going to bring it back to them. Well, while he's up there, are there questions?
I have one.
Yes, Councilman Doug.
Yeah, how many total employees do you have?
There are actually no employees. My wife is the owner of the business, and generally there's one massage therapist there. We can't have more than one. There's not enough business for that, so. But they're not actually, they're all
Like a contractor, that
Yes,
kind of
sir.
thing?
They're subcontractors.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead and ask. Yeah, we'll ask him questions first and then bring the city, okay? And if you need any follow-up, we can bring him back up. So anybody else have questions to the gentleman? I do.
Okay, great.
Why, do you know why this business has been turned over so often? Once a year is a lot.
I do not, ma'am. I have
You
no
don't
idea.
know?
We saw it for sale. My wife was interested in buying it. there was no background on why she was selling the business. I don't know why it had been turned over so many times. I
And
mean,
you kept the name, is that
Yeah,
correct?
we kept the same name. And as a matter of fact, we didn't, we didn't change anything in that place. It's exactly like it was when these officers came in and inspected it for, her name was Mary. It was exactly like it was. We didn't change anything. And she passed. She passed. Same code, same book, same everything. Was filled out the same way we fill it out. So I'm really, I don't understand why she didn't pass. I mean, the towels being left out.
Okay. And the question about you don't have any employees,
Yes, ma'am.
how do you choose who is going to do that? Do you have any background on them at all?
Honestly-
Your contractors?
honestly, no, there is no background check. We look solely for the certification by the California Massage Therapy Council. And it's very easy to look up that information online. Anybody can do it. If you have their massage number,
Okay.
type it in, and it shows you clearly, it will tell you, well, first of all, if they have trouble, it'll tell you that there's trouble, okay? If their license has been revoked, if it's expired, all the information's right there. I don't know, maybe law enforcement can dig a little bit deeper into that, but for the general public, that's the information that we can see.
That's it.
And-
And so can you tell me specifically why there were problems? I know you guys said the credit card thing, but do you have the book here?
No, ma'am.
You know?
Don't have it.
That would have been nice to see, because I'm interested in knowing what your wife or whoever was filling it out was leaving out. Were there always names? Were there always?
Majority of them had names, yes. Mostly addresses were not filled in. The amount that was being paid was on there. In the address part, generally, is because the customer doesn't want to give the address, okay?
So what would you do going forward if you were able to keep the license? Because that's something you have to do.
Right. Well, with credit cards, with credit cards, it's easy to get the name, because if they're using a credit card, it's on the receipt, okay?
Right.
By the way, they did comment about the entries in the book being all done by the same hand. I don't know that it's covered in the code that it has to be filled out by the customer. I mean, my wife or whoever is intaking the.
There's only one other person that works
Yeah.
there. It's your wife and one other
Right.
person.
So, if my wife is writing it in for every, ask him, what's your name, sir? And she writes it down. I don't know why that's an issue. I mean, why does the customer have to write it down?
Can you bring your wife up?
Yeah.
I'd like to ask her, did she?
Excuse me. The
Honey,
customer
wait.
coming here, I told you want to do the name, address, he, sometimes somebody should do address, name. He not do address. Why? Why need the address? Why need the information? 当 I how you not no customer. 当 customer come, he not do the he name 就 okay. 当 because credit card he come in here, 幾乎 catch 幾乎沒 credit card. I know understand 來得 those customer 幾乎 customer 來得 I don't know. I not speak English. He 就來得 I 就 okay. 來得 for me. But sometimes I ask say you want an address. He said, why need the address? I don't come in here. Just say, here too many, no home. I was outside, somebody no come in here. Here, area no good. I don't know because I move here. Move in layout. I just buy this one business because I order, I want little money. Just say, I buy this one business. Problem, too much problem. He no proof me because I paid the money for only open 3 weeks. He said you need to close. I need my husband told no, and then say no, City Hall say you can open. I do open. he told him, you coming here. You cannot open. I say, I know.
She's referring to
Yeah, it's
Mr.
not-
Eltring, I'm sorry if I butcher that name. Eltringham came again after he told us we had to close. We complied. That's when I appealed, and I got it, finally, after I was able to finally get to speak to somebody, that was a process in itself. I got in touch, actually, Mr. Lim got in touch with me. And I did propose that question to him, can we remain open until this hearing? And he said he would find out, which he did. He emailed me back stating that, yes, you can stay open until the hearing. A few weeks, a couple, maybe, I don't know, a week or so later, Mr. Ellington came back again. What are you doing open? I told you you had to close. Not very polite at all. And my wife called me immediately. I wasn't there. My wife called me immediately, and she did show him the email that I had from Mr. Lim. And by the way, hold on, honey. By the way, when she did approach him to show him the email, apparently she touched his hand, and he immediately yelled at her, "Don't touch me!" Like, okay.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure what that was all about, but anyway.
Okay.
So he said, and he told her that email was garbage. This is garbage. And he apparently said he got on the phone to call somebody, and they said, no, we didn't authorize
Okay, can I
this."
bring you back to the question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you
She
mind
did- she
ma-
wanted to
What I
ask you a
want to know is, if you got to keep your license, could you tell them that your customers, that you have to fill everything out because that's the law?
I know, I understand.
You understand
now,
that?
I understand. Say, customer need everything information.
By the law.
Okay.
Just by the law.
By the law, yes.
Yeah,
That's a
and, you know, if
requirement.
they can't abide by the law, you probably don't want them for customers, but, I mean, maybe you do, I don't know.
He only sign a name, address, 就 okay, né? Yes, right?
The address?
The name, if they only signed their name and the address. I mean,
Name
what
and
is, what
address.
is the importance of their phone number? It's very interesting that if you actually read the code, it talks about this information is only for law enforcement purposes. That's specifically,
Sometimes customer only name, okay.
that's
You know what,
specifically what it says.
Information,
But-
everything, I
yes,
don't know.
honey, but what she's asking you is if you are allowed to stay open, are you going to tell them that they
Yes,
have to put their address
No
in
one
accordance with the
no
law?
need
Yeah.
customer to.
Just go.
It's the law.
It's the
And
law.
so, you know,
Madam Mayor, if I may,
yes.
Okay.
just as one person,
Uh-huh.
I do find I understand to a point the need for information of the customer. Just as one individual, I do find the request of essentially demanding an address simply for a service to be a bit of an overreach for my liking. I would
We would
ask-
have to change the
I
code.
would like to ask city staff if that is a state law requirement or simply municipal. Yeah, name
I
and
could
phone number,
address-
I can.
I could address that. It is not a state load.
If I may, sir, if I can
Yeah,
just.
yes, sorry. Go ahead.
Is that municipal, state, what are the parameters here?
Sorry, I'm just thinking whether I should answer that. I think I need to defer it to city staff and their attorney, because I think that's a question that's affecting your deliberations. I'm just the process guy.
I'm
here.
also asking simply regarding our laws on the books. Is that simply municipal law that we did as a city? Or were we simply taking state law and putting it on our books?
So I'm going to defer to Ms. Tran,
Okay.
but I will say that for purposes of this hearing,
It's the law.
the administrative hearing body can determine what they think the law is. So the question of, is it state or local, I think it's a fair question, but I'm going to defer it to Ms. Tran. She'll either know it or she won't. I'll be honest, I've been in her shoes. I'm not sure that I would know the answer as she's sitting there, but maybe
If I may
she's
say
better
one
than I.
thing before.
And it sounds like Mr. Davis might know the answer, but I'll let the hearing body decide if they want to hear from him. But again, this hearing body can make any determination it wants. You are acting as judges here, so you get to interpret what the law is. So I want to be very clear about that.
Right.
And then if there are policy changes that you want to make later to existing law, you can do that at another point. But right now, you're interpreting the law as it relates to Ms. Dong and her business.
So I'm going to address one question. Before you answer that one, can you answer this for me?
Yes, please.
Do you have any cameras on your entrance? When
Yes.
when customers walk in, do you have them on video?
Yes, we do.
All right. And please address the other matter.
Yes, so the state of California has no requirement for a massage therapist. The state has no requirement for a massage therapist to have any kind of license whatsoever, okay? That's the state law. However, since the establishment of the California Massage Therapy Council, many cities like yourself have adopted this necessity for them to be certified, okay? And that's where that all came about. I do have one question. Maybe you might be able to answer this, Mr. Lim. Is there a difference between code and law?
Through the mayor, would you like me to answer that? Because I'm your attorney right now, so I'm not obligated to answer his question, so I'll defer to the board if you would like me to answer that question.
You may answer it.
No,
There is no difference.
no, it's used interchangeably, and the Ms. Tran may want to chime in, but law, code, ordinance, people use them
Yeah.
fairly
Okay,
interchangeably.
so there is no California law saying that you have to record it. It is, however, in the California Massage Therapy Council's statute, I guess. I can say honestly, there isn't a massage business in this city or anywhere else that follows that religiously. They don't do it. I mean, everybody would be turning away customers left and right because they don't want to give their addresses, okay? They just don't want to do it.
Okay, was there anything else that you all wanted to address here? Anything that they brought up, Madam?
I have copies of the law if you want to see it.
Yes, please.
So what is required is date, time, full name, full address, how much?
Officer Eldringham, do you want to come to the
Oh,
mic
sorry.
so that we can record it and capture in case there's an appeal? And for the record, the officer has handed you a copy of his cell phone.
Yes.
Which looks like with pictures of a logbook. And Officer Eldringham, after you show it, after the mayor gives it back to you, I'm going to ask you to show it to Ms. Dong so they can review it.
So what is required on the logbook is the date, the time, the full name, the full address, how much the massage was, how much was tipped, and who provided. That is it.
Right.
Did you want to look at that?
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what he's looking at there. The logbook, perhaps, I'm not sure.
As they're looking at that, I want to ask you one question.
Yes, please.
Would you consider rebranding? Would you consider rebranding? New name, would you consider that?
Absolutely. Not a problem. I'm not sure when the officer came in, I'm not sure what he was looking at in the logbook, because the logbook that she's using was also the logbook for the previous owner, who also had entries in there. So I'm not sure. She didn't start over with a logbook of her
You can take a
own.
look at it when they're done,
Yeah,
to
sure.
see if it's yours. The other question, did you work any place before you started this as a massage therapist?
I working.
No, she was the manager at we used to live in Milpitas.
Milpitas.
We recently moved here.
Okay.
And we recently moved here, and she was the manager at Oasis Massage, and
Okay.
not as a therapist, okay?
Oh, okay. So then after that, you got your license after?
Oh, no, she doesn't have a license, and
Oh,
she-
so you don't give massages?
She does not, no.
No, I
Because
only
she's not a
sit
licensed
down here,
therapist.
see somebody working California license, the girl working here.
So you just have one person who comes in to do it, and you're the manager?
Yeah, she's
an
the owner, and she, according to your code, she has to supervise, and
I only buy 3 weeks, he coming here.
Okay, so I'm-
Because somebody,
I'm seeing- I'm
this one
seeing-
买的。 This one is before that. I know that he write down.
Well, I'm seeing here that this is filled out. I don't understand
Not my by that.
what the issue is here.
Is that your wife's handwriting?
No, that's not my
No,
wife's
no, no.
handwriting.
Who wrote that?
See, this one, lady, before show me that.
Yeah, I can't see the,
Here, 慢时意啊，慢时。
well, 329, 330,
I
331.
only
Yeah,
by
these
the
three.
1 month I know 1 month he come police this
No,
one
this
come
might be you, honey.
This
These
one,
may be written down by the customers, I don't know, but, yeah, you had the business at this time. 329, 330, 331.
This is during your ownership.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
But
And-
these are
and
filled out.
It looks like it's similar handwriting, like one person filled it out? No?
No, I wouldn't agree with that.
Yeah. Is there Susan?
Susan is the massage therapist that is on record
Okay,
when we open the business.
okay.
That's her name. It's
Susan.
Yuan Zhang is her
Oh, okay.
proper name, but there isn't a massage therapist
Sure.
that use that their proper name.
Well, that's a pretty name.
But yeah, that's the therapist. At the time that the inspection took place, Susan was not there that day, so she had somebody there that was a
Sometimes they
licensed.
only come in here one day, no customer, he to go.
Yeah, she had been there.
Need somebody to somebody come in here because the business is no good. The girl come in here working need a business, no business girl to go. He no one
Okay.
stay here.
She had the lady that was there at the time of the inspection who kind of agreed to stay there working, but after the inspection, she got scared and said no more. So
And she was a licensed?
She was a licensed massage therapist.
Massage.
He you see
Yeah,
picture.
yeah,
Yes,
yes, he did get a picture of that, you know. There's no massages being performed by people who aren't licensed.
Okay.
The requirement by the city to have that information, again, that would be something that would be nice to be able to have a little leeway there, because like I said, to run down here to the city and tell them,
Well,
this person's working here, and then the next day they're gone.
you know, sir, I am of the mind that the laws that are in the book, they must be followed. I'm very law and order. And, you know, others might feel differently. But I think that when you open a business, you should know the laws and you need to follow them.
Right.
And our inspectors, our officers, whether they're working out patrol or on homicides or doing this, it's all about the law.
Sure.
So I'm not gonna deviate from it.
Sure.
Others might, and that's fine.
I'm not suggesting that we want to deviate
Okay,
from
I
it.
just,
saying.
that's why I asked the question whether she would, you know, ask for everything that our
Yes.
law demands.
Yes,
That's why I
yes,
asked.
you answered that question.
And you
Yes,
did
will.
answer. So could you give the officer back his
Oh, yeah,
phone,
yeah.
please? Yes, Councilwoman Panduro.
Thank you. So I just had a, because you're
Yes,
talking about the high turnover rate with the massage therapist. So if one person's there one day and they leave the next day, where are you finding a new person for that week? Or how do they know? Are you listed anywhere or?
Yeah, well,
How do people find you?
okay, since this is an Asian business, there is a website, not a website, a chat room, if you will, you know, for specifically people talking about massage, and people advertise all over there looking for a massage
I just
therapist.
say, I need somebody hold me, come in here, massage, need the car, fully and license. That somebody to call me, say, I come in here. I say, okay, would you dare come in here? You know,
Yeah,
to
we
say,
have a-
Now, somebody not go before that, I need just some more information, so you will time come in here. Somebody not here, 3 days, you can go, you know, one day somebody do same so.
Yeah, sometimes they don't want to work all week long, they'll work
And
2 or 3 days a
we
week.
can, yeah.
And so we have to try to maintain,
3 days change one, and maybe sometime somebody want more time stay here, 3 days, 4 days. See the 3 days, 4 days, see the too many home no stay here. He scared to go. Sometimes in the morning, I not coming here. I will pee go here and
Yeah.
not here.
Yeah, the homeless- homeless
I
is
don't
terrible.
want to. I be what they know to coming here only little time to see that to think okay buy that to this one. I don't know.
Okay.
I not understand. I
Did
don't
they
know
answer your question?
Yeah,
Okay,
sorry.
we're good.
Okay.
Thank you on that. Any other questions from anybody? Yes, Councilman Sandu?
How long ago did you move here?
Well, we've
4
been here about
months.
4 months now. We live
4
in,
months.
we live in Vallejo.
I don't know, I don't know here. I tell you, now say you see the every young this one, everyone terrible. But I told, oh no, come in here, sit down my business, go. He later you coming here again. That's again is to pay here. Pay here, go here. Told he go, he no go, But
Yeah.
sometimes I open my door, come in here, take my.
Yeah, we have problems with that, and I know it's emotional. I'm sorry too. I get it.
I know.
I get it.
I
We're
know
doing our
why,
best on that.
I think I may stay by this one business too much terrible,
Yeah, it's very difficult.
So you lived in
Yes.
Milpitas and then Vallejo and then Fairfield?
I'm sorry, sir.
You lived in,
Yes.
you live in Vallejo?
We live in Vallejo currently.
Okay.
yes.
When did you move from Milpitas to Vallejo?
About 4 months.
4 months ago?
Yeah.
It's no secret, in the city of Fairfield, we've had, challenges with these kind of businesses.
Yeah.
And I'll be the first to say, when I hear we're going to open a new one somewhere, I'm usually, sometimes not in favor.
Yeah.
That's no secret. And it's a historical thing. I want to
Yes.
just say that.
Well, it's a problem
Sure.
in every city,
And
not just Fairfield.
we ask a lot of our code enforcement. It's a small team. And I don't think any of us are discounting here that there were findings made. That's not really into question.
Second, he say not easy find here, Jia, I need Peter here. He Jia easy, just say my computer easy, okay. I don't know here because I move here only little time. They know here area no good. They know.
Okay. All right, any other questions? Okay, if you could have a seat, that'd be great. And then you want staff to come up and, anybody specific?
Yes.
So my first question is, when we do violations. Sorry, my first question is, when we do violations, are they curable?
So we're here today for the granting or denial of the massage permit. Once they get a permit, if there's any violations, then it will be a revocation hearing.
So let me just say it, that this is the most, in my opinion, I'm a little offended. I'm a small business owner. I own 2 businesses. I employ 10 people. And this feels so anti-business to me. I'm pissed. I'm trying not to be, but I am. Like, this just does not seem right. This lady is just trying to make a living. And I will tell you, as someone that has massages, has been doing it for years, definitely over a decade, I love the place I go to. I'm not going to say it out loud because I've never given them my name and my address and my particulars, and I would be very turned off if they did. I don't want my name in some book. And the fact that we're here and we're talking about, city staff is concerned about unlawful massages that are sexual in nature. What does that have to do with this lady? The fact that this business has been turned over, and she came in and bought it, what does that have to do with her? I just feel like we need to do better. We need to have a better lens. Like obviously there's issues with other massage places. We shouldn't be so quick to put this business in this box, I just don't think is right. I don't like these line of question. I don't like any of this stuff. And I'm hot.
Get it, girl.
So, and I don't even know where to go with this because this is, as you said, ma'am, this is a denial of a permit. So it's not even like they had a permit and now someone has come in and there's violations. But this does not, I'm embarrassed. I didn't realize that we were anti-business. And I'm like, what, are we anti-business here? I don't know. We need to. I know we need to make a decision, but I argue that we got some cleanup to do. I almost want to know, like, you know, is that just against this industry that we're kind of anti-business, trying to get a permit, or, you know, is that in other industries too in Fairfield? So I want to know that. Let me stop while I'm ahead, because I probably need to be in a different...
Councilwoman, it's fine.
Yeah,
I mean, come on now.
Let me do a reset. There might be other questions. Let me do a reset and have some water.
It's all good. It's fine. That's what you're here for. Anybody else?
I'd like to say, assuming I'm on the same mindset as her, I would be in favor of overruling the denial on this matter.
Okay. I guess nobody else has anything to say. I guess we're going to go ahead and move ahead now. That Councilwoman, did you want a little more time? Or do you want to, after this, take a look at these issues and see what we can do to, you know, if it's just a Fairfield law?
I don't know, like, do I have time to reform the city of Fairfield business practices and to dig into that? Not really, I don't have the bandwidth. But something's wrong here, you know, so, but I don't know the right steps. I think these people need time to cure this stuff. We should not have them on a violation sheet because we're looking at towels. Where is the technical assistance? Ma'am, you know what? I think there's a miscommunication. Is there someone that can speak to you, that can be here, be that middle person, so that we make sure that there's no, you know, language barriers? Because I feel like that's some of it too, you know. And are we friendly, you know, with folks with a language barrier? I want to say we should be. We're Fairfield. We're Solano County. And that's our strength, you know. So I don't, just the whole thing, it just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. But, so I look at this list, this stuff is curable. You know what, you want your permit, you got 30 days, get your act together. I'm coming back in 30 days, you know. And then, and is there a language barrier? Who can we talk to and explain this in a different way?
You could do it a couple of ways, right? You can use your phone and have translation that way. You can find an interpreter if that would make it easier. But I think right now we need to bring this question, and I think, did you make a motion?
Madam?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Madam Mayor, if I heard a question, I think, from one council member saying, you know, what can we do? And I interpreted that to mean, what can you do in this particular case? I want to remind the council of what you already know, that under Fairfield Municipal Code 10A.22, at this hearing, and I'll read it word for word, the council may reverse or affirm wholly or partly, or may modify any decision, determination, or requirement of the city manager, and may make such decisions or determinations or impose such conditions as the facts warrant, and may order that a permit be granted, suspended, or revoked in accordance with their ruling. The decisions of the city council shall be final. Any hearing may be continued from time to time. So parsing that into plain language, you can do whatever you want. You can say, we're going to grant the permit entirely, and city staff is instructed to issue the permit. You can say we uphold the decision of the code enforcement and we're denying the permit wholly. You can say we're going to grant the permit with some modifications, saying, we'll give you a permit, but you've got to, clean this part up, clean that part up. You can do whatever you want. It gives you a lot of leeway because, again, you are acting here as judges. I want to remind you, though, you cannot change the whole code tonight. You are only giving instructions to staff as to this owner and this permit. So I would recommend that you avoid larger discussions as to how you want to fix it. That would be a discussion for another time. Tonight, I would urge you to focus on what do you as a body want to do tonight with this permit, because I will also say it's getting late. So I think.
I cut everything off at 10. The mics go brrr. So, yes, it is getting late. I have one more question. May I ask you a question? You can come up to the mic. Do you have bias against
No. So I tell everybody.
business?
I tell everybody to follow the code before they are allowed to open.
Right.
So when we go to inspect, they have violations, then it's all on themselves.
Okay. And what about the type of business? Now, I've ridden with code enforcement. I've been inside. And you're very professional, very. And so although I understand Councilwoman Williams' frustration, I also, again, and I'll say it again, that we have to follow the rules that we have, the laws that we have. If we want to change those laws, we can do that down the road. But for now, if you go into any, let's say it's an upper end one at a fancy hotel. I know that you've shut some of those down, or two. You do the same kind of thing, right?
I do the same thing with everybody.
Everywhere.
So nothing changes, everything's done the same way. I want to make a note. I told her earlier, we have like 22 massage businesses in town. 8 comply with the logbook.
8
8
comply
comply with no issues.
out of 22.
So it is a big deal with a lot of the companies.
Yes, and so I don't think that we should be putting out there that these type of businesses or any business should get away with things just because, we don't agree with the law that is on the books right now. So that's me again. Thank you for coming up here, and it helps me a lot to have been out with you and seeing the professionalism of your team. And I appreciate you, and I appreciate our police, and I know this whole council does. And we are not, we want people to follow the law in this city, period. And I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, I have one question to his comment.
Yes, please come up. And then that's going to be it. We're going to move to,
Stated that there were 22 massage business out of it, those 8 up. Has he closed down all those other businesses that aren't conforming?
you can bet he has, that he's given.
They're all closed.
So the ones that.
You-
So the ones that got the massage permit get a preliminary notice, basically to give them 15 days to correct. If they don't.
That's what she was asking about, yes.
If they don't correct it, I give them a final notice. I usually wait about 14 days.
Yes.
So now we're into 5 weeks. If they still don't correct it, I write them a citation. And then a lot of the massage businesses that go that route, when they go to renew in 2 years, I deny them.
And so tell me this, how is this case different? Because it didn't have a full license.
I never issued the massage permit to begin with. I told, I forgot his name.
Right.
I told him via text, make sure you comply with the City of Fairfield Chapter 10A massage regulations. I told him that if he does not comply, we find violations, he'll be denied.
So he never had the
I also had
permit.
a phone call where I told him the same thing on the
It's very
phone.
different.
And sorry, may I cut
No,
in?
go ahead.
And Officer Eltringham, is that what you do whenever a new massage business opens up?
Yes, so I have a new one, I had a new one on on Oliver Road Baseball.
Yes.
So they changed ownership because the previous owner got in trouble. He went to renew, I denied him his permit, his wife opened, I allowed her to open on probationary term. When we went to re-inspect a couple weeks ago, she had 6 violations, different from what he had. Also, I issued her a denial, and they are now looking to sell that business as well.
I appreciate it, and I see the difference. I wanted the council to see the difference between an established one with a permit and a preliminary, or, yeah. Thank you, officer.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Sir, one question for you. In the 8 that do comply, can you speak on, have you ever audited those addresses to those names?
So when we're at the massage businesses, I don't know the locations outside of the city, but on my, when I go through the Fairfield addresses, I'll look at it and go, well, this address doesn't exist in the Fairfield. I've been working here for 31 years. I kind of know the city a little bit. And then I'll look at it and go, I don't remember this street, and I'll pull out my phone and I'll look, and there's no street for that.
Sure.
So there are some of the logbooks that are falsified. A lot of them did.
Were you able to corroborate, maybe with voter registration data, the address and the name for all of these books?
What was that?
Have you been able to verify that the addresses in these logbooks and the businesses that are complying, all of those addresses have a commensurate name?
I just go by face value.
Yeah. My point to the council, I believe there is a certain level of performativeness when it comes to complying and simply having an address on the books. I think there is question to the validity of those addresses.
Sure. So again, Councilman,
No,
I think we can go back and
Agreed.
look at that later.
But I'll come back to this hearing.
Yes, please.
What I would like to, thank you so much.
Thank you, officer.
Sir, just as one person, what I would like to see, this business has baggage. This specific one, it sounds like for years, would be a rename and a new website and a fresh start, if we can give that to you. And then 30 days or whatever, when you have the preliminary, and then hopefully by the end of that, you can get a permanent one. So that's my position there.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and make a motion because we're going to move along here and see if this can comply. What I would like to see is a probationary period with this that could go for 60 days, and we will come in and inspect at any time again. And we expect, in this motion, I expect that everything will be to a T. And want to make sure that she understands. I mean, both of you stand up. I mean, I feel with her, I mean, I know that it's hard because I've run small businesses too. I understand. And I speak English fluently. And so I want to make sure that you understand what my motion is. That doesn't mean we're going to pass here. And then I'm not going to necessarily put in what Councilman Sandu said, because I think that that's something else, but it's something that he's suggesting, okay? So that's what I want, 60 days, and inspections can come anytime. And we want those books filled out properly, at least every space filled in, because that's the law right now. And so you'll be able to work during that time if this council agrees.
He told me say you change nine not to apply. I don't change
It's okay,
or
sweetie.
to change.
Okay.
To change everything.
Okay.
Okay.
I
understand, yes.
One question for Mr. Sandu. You mentioned he's verifying these addresses, and I'll agree that's pretty difficult to do. And I also agree, I don't know that any business could ask the customer or tell the customer that, or ask the customer, is that your correct address? I mean,
Okay.
why would you do that?
Well,
Or even, is that your correct name? I can't ask them to see their ID, you know, I can't do that.
Okay. Well, there is some trust there. And so, anyway, that is my motion. Is it clear?
I'll second that.
Second that? Okay, and we're going to go ahead and do a roll call vote, please.
And Madam Mayor, may I, because the resolution was sort of a generic resolution, can I
Yes.
restate the resolution to make sure that it's capturing what you and Councilmember Carr are suggesting? And I'm not going to read the whole resolution, but I'm going to read the relevant portions. So this is resolution number 2025-147. I'm just going to read two relevant sections. Section 1 says the council finds that the appeal brought by Miracle Massage regarding the denial of permit to operate a massage establishment, and this would be approved or sustained, meaning that you're overturning the decision of code enforcement and you're granting them an appeal. Now, Section 2 is what I would recommend changing, so if you and Councilmember Carr could listen closely. Section 2 currently states, city staff for the city of Fairfield are authorized to do all things proper and necessary consistent with the findings of this resolution. And I would add, and work with the city clerk to add your terms, which would be to include a probationary period of 60 days.
Yes.
And to allow inspections by city staff anytime, day or night, with or without a warrant. And that's standard legal language for inspections without a
And
warrant.
unannounced, yes,
Yeah, anytime.
anytime.
The last question I want, just to make sure we're not putting the owner into a difficult position, is then at the end of 60 days, if there's no issues, does the probationary permit become permanent? Or what's the trigger for it to not become
I think
permanent?
that's right. That's right. It becomes permanent.
Okay, so I'll add with permission, if no violations in that 60-day period, permit automatically becomes permanent.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
That's all right with you, Councilman Carr? Yes, okay. So we'll do a, yes, please.
Yes.
No.
Aye.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. The motion passes 5-1. That means that you can continue your business for 60 days. And then if you comply with everything that we've asked, it might be easy to maybe write it down. This is the law, and so we have to ask to show it to the folks who come in.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, maybe that's easier I'm just suggesting.
Sure.
And our inspectors will be in, our officers, okay?
And I will take Mr. Sandu up on rebranding, if you will, change the name. I have no problem with that.
All right, thank you and good luck with your business, okay?
Thank you so much.
All right,
Thank you.
and this meeting is finally adjourned. Thank you, council, very much, and thank you, clerk, and dang, dang.